Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, a twice-a-week all-sports podcast that takes place every single Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Again, twice-a-week all-sports podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us here also is the magnificent Son X, the Comment King.
Next time, baby.
Next time.
Shh.
Yeah. How menacing this does looks right here. X, it's a little X sign.
Generation X.
Yeah. Something about Shawn Michaels and Triple H X that I don't think necessarily you foot the bill for.
Oh, wow.
But if you're new to the channel, it's a twice a week, again, as I mentioned, all sports podcast. We talk anything and everything sports. We talk football, we talk basketball, we talk baseball, we talk hockey, we talk anything and everything sports, college athletics. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure to do a few things. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our future videos, and make sure to like the video because apparently that helps the algorithm. For today, got quite a bit of news. We got a lot of NFL to cover. We've got some coaches that are on the hot seats. Some coaches have already been canned. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the falls from race. Playing jerseys burned. Oh, goodness gracious. We're going to talk about, the I guess you could say the struggles of some teams early on. So there's a good bit to talk about here. But X, let's go ahead. Let's jump into some of our comments here first so we're able to make sure we're current on those. Goon, Grumpy.
Is it good or bad that I'm looking forward more towards this podcast than the Jets game tonight?
It's good. It means that our podcast is better than the NFL.
That's absolutely obvious.
I will say this much. Jets, we thinking the Jets win this game or they lose tonight?
I think they win. I think this Raiders team is miserable.
They did get the bounce.
The MILF Hunter with a dart down the field. Go! Garrett Wilson, huge reception.
Okay. Well, bye, Jimbo, says Freeze Warning. That's right. Speaking of guys on the hot seat, Jimbo Fisher was canned from Texas A&M. They had to pay him $77 million as part of his buyout. Holy shit. Was that X?
I said they must have wanted him out bad.
I mean, with the amount, can you remove that comment, X?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Grumpy.
Did they pay that in a lump? Or
I assume it gets paid over the longevity.
Well, I don't know. I mean, because it was all guaranteed. So I don't know if they pay everything at one time. I don't know if it has any bearing on him getting another job. Like I said, if they paid it like in a lump, it means he can go out and get a job tomorrow and make more money. I'm just saying, he signed that, what was it, a 10-year deal? I think $95 million, all guaranteed. He made out like a bandit in that deal.
Well, the thing that I'm wondering is if it was the same kind of thing that happened with, what's his face? The guy who was the Carolina, Matt Rule. So how the Matt Rule situation worked was he was owed that money from the Panthers, but the sum of that money was just transferred over to Nebraska when he started coaching there.
It's a little bit different in the pros than in college.
Well, I'm saying if he gets another college job, that fee might be transferred over to the other college.
That's why I asked if they paid that off in a lump. If that's a lump sum payout, because they have to pay him off. They have to pay him.
Yeah. I'm going to say I have a feeling it'll probably fall into the same thing as Rule. So if he gets another job somewhere else, that other team's going to get that contract essentially.
I'm just not sure. It's they gave him that contract back in 2021, that 10-year deal. It's just, in my opinion, that's just freaking absolutely nuts. And it's expected to be more than $75 million. I'm trying to see if they have any sort of, information.
I just don't know what the language is. I just don't know what the language is. That's all.
Yeah. Well, again, we're not going to freaking, get lost into the weeds on that. But here's the thing. You're paying a guy $75 million, however long of the time period is going to be. That's going to hamper your ability to bring in a real-time head coach, wouldn't it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. These schools have so much freaking money, it doesn't matter at all. It's not. If believe me, if it was a problem, they wouldn't have paid him off. They have the money. And that's the biggest thing I got out of it. They have so much money that they just bought him out and gave him the money and said, see you later. It means that they're loaded with money. Loaded.
Remember the boosters? Remember, they were bringing in top recruiting class after top recruiting class pretty much year after year. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess maybe that does have some sort of impact on it. But, I mean, they've got big recruiting class, a big amount of dollars that are tied there to them. So,
this is kind of an off-topic thing of this, but do you think that Aaron Rodgers watching Zach Wilson in at quarterback is like hurting when he sees plays that he could easily make, that this kid's just messing up?
I don't know if he's hurting, but I'll tell you one thing. He's definitely not happy. We've seen him on the sidelines before, just like consistently shaking his head in disappointment, watching Zach Wilson not make the passes, not do what he needs to do to be successful on the field. We definitely have seen that.
I think
I was just wondering. What'd you say, Grump?
I think that he says, man, I can make those plays.
Yeah.
And he's hoping that the Jets make the play or squeak in or close if he can possibly come back and, be like the Lone Ranger coming in to save the day at the end.
Yep.
That's what I think. That's what I think his thought process is.
Okay. I was just wondering because they showed him on the sidelines and he had a face of disappointment. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, I'm sure he's disappointed. He's like, shit. If I was in, because he knows if I was in the game right now, we'd have much different results.
He doesn't strike me as the player who wouldn't care, doesn't care if he wins just as long as he's collecting a paycheck. He seems like he wants to win.
I don't know. In years past,
I don't know about that.
I think now he cares about winning.
Maybe.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, years past, but at the end of the day, if he didn't care about winning, why would he have gone to the Jets?
That's probably he thought like that in the past because he knew Brady was in the league and he was never going to beat him.
But now he knows his only competition is that freaking scrub at Kansas City. So
he's no competition.
Oh, no competition.
Oh, good gracious. I tell you, I will tell you this much, at least regarding Jimbo Fisher. Do you think a guy like that finds a job soon? Or is he going to be out for a while? He's had lackluster season after lackluster season. Do you think teams are going to be chomping at the bit trying to bring him back?
I think he can be selective on any job that he wants.
Well, sure, of course. If you're going to pay him $35 million, I'm sure you can be more selective as what job you're going to take. I'm just saying, here's the thing: most of those guys don't like sitting on their hands; they'd rather be coaching. So he's in his 60s. Years old. 58.
Yeah, I mean, all right, 58. He never needs to work again.
Nope.
He coached some high school team somewhere. I mean, he can just, do whatever he wants. He could just kick back and say, I'm retired. I mean, that's a nice little nest egg he got.
I don't think he'll be the guy who just sits back and says, I'm not.
I will say I would be in absolutely no hurry to, if it's, like I said, I don't know the language of the contract. Say that. But let's say that it's how it is in pro football. If you bring somebody in and they're still under contract, somebody else, the other team has to pay the majority. You pay whatever's left over. The Patriots do that all the time. That's why they have a lot of ex-coaches who bomb out, like with the Giants and with the Lions. They bring him in. They don't have to pay him anything because they make him, he's just an assistant. So, and they say, well, and his contract is $900,000. Well, the Lions and the Giants are paying the guy's full contract. So the Patriots don't have to pay anything. I don't know if that's the way it is with Jimbo's contract because it was fully guaranteed. I don't know. But if let's say it is, though, I feel that he's just going to sit back. He'll certainly sit out a year and he'll just wait because why would you jump back into the fray if you're not going to get any money? Unless they say, okay, we're going to give you, $30 million a year, which means they'll have to pay some money and then the rest will be paid by Texas A&M. I don't know the language of the contract one more time, but that's the only way if I was him, I'd come back. Certainly
Grumpy,
not for the same money somewhere else.
Do you know the language of the contract, Grumpy?
I don't.
Okay. I just don't see him as being a guy who just wants to sit on his hands and do nothing. I just will be interested to see when he'll come back. He was a guy who, was very highly sought after, vied after by teams. So I'll be interested to see if the perceptions change for him. What are you shaking your head about, Grump?
Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams. He ain't done shit in like a month. Bam. First play. Bam. Right down the field. Big play. Of course, I bench him in my fantasy league.
Nobody gives a shit about your fantasy league, Grumpy.
I do.
Nobody cares.
Well, since Grumpy brought it up, let's bring up some of my fantasy woes.
Nobody gives a shit about anybody's fantasy team but their own. So keep it in your pants, boys, and let's keep moving. X, what are the comments?
Your team sucks and has no shot to win anything doesn't mean that you have to poo-poo our teams, TJ.
What do I have to do, X?
Poo-poo our teams.
Drew L. Grumpy.
Arthur Smith might be joining Jimbo as the coach is getting shit canned, although I'd argue Smith actually coached his first decent game, but you can't lose to the Cardinals. I'd love to talk about that. TJ, would you?
Yes, I had that queued up as a topic of discussion here for today. Murray made his appearance back, first game back, almost 355 days, or something like that since the last time he had played in a game. Excellent. If you can remove that comment, please, that'd be very helpful. But because we're gonna have a video clip to go with it there, X. So the game, the Falcons had the lead for the majority of the game. And I don't know. They found a way to Falcons it. That's probably the nicest way I could put it. This, I will say, this play here by Kyler Murray, I was like, holy shit, what a play. And this is the reason why I think people love him or like him as a QB. It's just you look at the ability he has to improvise here. And I'll let you watch the play. It speaks for itself. It's 3rd and 10. There's 1 minute and 50 seconds left remaining on the clock. The Cardinals are down by 1 point.
Pressure. Cardinals need a play right here from their franchise quarterback. Murray running for his life. Murray trying to bounce himself in.
Back to the 19.
It's a couple of blockers. Murray's going to run for it. He's got it. First down, Cardinals.
He was really good today, his first game back. Really good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He was pretty good.
Whoa, hold on. What did you just say?
I said he was pretty good his first game back.
He's a good quarterback.
You said he's pretty good. Wow.
I said he was pretty good. I said he was pretty good his first game back. I think right for having not played in a full season, I thought he played really well today. I'm not gonna break his balls. He hasn't played a snap of football in over a year. I thought he played pretty well today.
What I was concerned about was his mobility. If you have a substantial knee injury like that, is he going to have the same quickness, the same escapability, the same acceleration? And he had everything. He was really good today because they're a bad team. This is a team that's going to win some games down the stretch just because of him. He's good. I know you don't like Kyler Murray, but I'm going to tell you what, he's a good quarterback. Is he great? No, but he's good. You can win with him. You absolutely can.
He's a scrambler. He's an improviser. He's not a good quarterback.
He's got a gun for an arm. He throws the ball really well. And he brings that he's not. And he brings that element of escapability and able to pick up third downs like that. 3rd and 10. I mean, he winds up losing 20-something yards and winds up getting it all back, then some, and gets the first down and leads him to the winning field goal right at the end.
Okay, we're talking about it because it works well this time. How often does shit like this work well?
Really,
the answer is if number 17 takes the right angle, this is not even a topic of discussion because Genius over here ran 15 yards backwards to try to gain 10 yards. It works.
It was the fact that he's so elusive. He has that ability to do that.
Not many guys do.
That's right. Not many guys do that.
God, man, oh man.
And on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 release weekend, baby. That's why he's going off.
That's why he's the GOAT. Isn't that right, X?
That's right.
I'm sorry. It was a good first game back from him. It is the Atlanta Falcons, right? I cannot believe the Atlanta Falcons found a way to lose this game today. Arthur Smith is a guy who will be on the hot seat or should be on the hot seat.
They don't have a quarterback. It's tough to judge. Arthur Smith is doing what he did in Tennessee as the offensive coordinator when they didn't have a quarterback, the running game. That's what they're doing in Atlanta. Desmond Ridder is not the answer at quarterback. He's just not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, without a quarterback, there's only so much you can do. That's why he plays that style and system. I don't think he's a terrible coach. I just hate the way he looks with his sideline get up and that big old hat and those little sweaters over damn T-shirts. Yikes.
Next comment here, Crump.
I swear, if I somehow beat Anthony Rizzi despite Keenan Allen putting up 44 points against me, I deserve to go to the fantasy playoffs. Drew, it doesn't work like that. Sorry.
Don't even get me started on Keenan Allen.
Ugh, Jesus. I tell you, fantasy is fantasy. It's all I got to say. Goon said, I enjoyed the Giants player tonight dancing in the end zone like he had just scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, after the extra point, the score was Cowboys 28, Giants 7.
Giants
That was a close game.
The Giants are bad.
Close
They're
one,
bad.
no butter.
They had Joe Pesci playing quarterback for them today.
Danny DeVito. Yep.
It's not
Tommy
Danny DeVito.
DeVito.
It's Tommy DeVito,
Danny
who,
DeVito was out there.
who was Joe Pesci's character in Goodfellas.
He was launching subs, Jersey Mike subs, as opposed to footballs.
Again, you're a moron because it has nothing to do with Danny DeVito. Nothing.
X,
It's
if you
Tommy
can remove
DeVito
him.
is his name. It's Tommy DeVito.
X, please remove that comment. Now, I'm not sure
It's
if you know,
gone.
Tommy DeVito lives at home. He lives with his parents as the starting quarterback of the New York Giants. They asked him about that. He said, I don't have to worry about laundry and what I'm eating for dinner. Chicken cutlets and all that is waiting for me when I get there. My mom still makes my bed. Everything is handled for me.
Maybe that's why he can't handle the quarterback position for the New York Giants.
You know what? It reminds me.
His mom should go out there and play. I mean, I guarantee you should do a better performance than him.
It reminds me of Goodfellas once again when Tommy DeVito went home and his mom was there because he still lived at home with his mom. And, he needed a knife because, Billy Batts was sitting in the trunk of the car and they wanted to, and he says, well, what do you need a knife for? A big freaking knife. He's like, oh, it's like I hit a deer on the parkway and, his foot, his leg is stuck in the grill. It's like hoof. And De Niro says hoof. And, he's like, yeah, you got to hack it out of there, but it's a sin. Got to do it. So
What the
Tommy
fuck was
DeVito.
that, Grumpy?
Tommy DeVito. Good
Okay.
fellas.
Okay.
Am I here to amuse you? Am I some type of fucking clown?
Good gracious. The Giants got smacked again today.
They suck.
Yikes.
They don't have a quarterback. Their offensive line blows. Last year they did with smoke and mirrors. Well, all the smoke cleared this year. They're not a good team. They're not.
It's not sustainable to do that. We talked about it last year. I said, I get it. They're winning games. They're not a good team. Said it from the start. You can watch the game and wow, man, they're winning. Okay, they're scheming players open. They're doing a lot of tricky things to win games. And here's the thing. That shit, it can only get by on that so long. And the unfortunate thing is it looks like they're blowing up and imploding on the sidelines, which I'm like, oh, shit. That's the problem where it's like, oh, man, when you start blowing up and having issues on the sidelines, that's a big problem. JP Grumpy.
Goon, I believe the answer to your question is no. Stellar podcast, mediocre football team.
Goon says here, would Lane Lambert being excused of his coaching duties accomplish anything at all? Do you want to try the other half of the meatball? I will say, X, can you leave that comment up for a second? Jesus Christ, buddy. Shit.
Firing Lane Lambert is going to do nothing to improve the Islanders. Nothing.
You might get a temporary bounce, but it's not the answer.
Nothing. The team sucks. The players suck. It's a Matty and the Jags. Noah. Let's throw Noah in there too. And Sorokin. They got 3 guys worth something. Everybody else is a piece of trash.
There's a lot of issues happening in Unders country. That's for certain. The press has been hard on him. Which is good. They've got to be. But he looks like he's wilted under the pressure. He's a guy who just and I'll ask X because you don't pay enough attention or pay a lot of attention to the Islanders. There's some things that have been happening over the last 24 hours. They were in the middle of an interview. They were asking him, hey, Lane Lambert, do you feel like the room's still listening? He said, yeah, I do. And he walked out of the interview.
Loser.
Out of the post-game presser.
Loser.
And then you had some players last night after the game, right? The Islanders lost against the Washington Capitals. And this is what one of the lifelong Islanders had to go ahead and say, because people in the stands were chanting "Fire Lane." Now, here's the thing. Lane is not the issue. It's the general manager that's the issue. But Casey Cizikas, a
wanna read
lifelong Islander, had a few things to say, Grumpy.
He's like, it's a joke. Sasika says, it's a joke, reiterating the same comment. That kind of stuff ticks me off. It really does. I've got no time for those useless fans. I've got no time for them. If they want to be like that, they can stay home. You know what
I would say?
Go ahead, X. What would you say?
I would say no problem. I'm a season ticket holder. Boop, boop, beep, beep, beep. Hello, Islanders marketing team. Yes, I'd like to refund my tickets. Casey Cizikas told me to stay home because I'm disappointed with the way the team's performing. So I'm going to refund my tickets. Have fun having empty seats for the remainder of the season.
Let me ask you a question.
How did you dial him up, X?
Beep, boop, beep, 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 beep.
Go ahead, Grumpy.
This is a question to both of you. Do you think it's a wise business practice for people in your organization to be telling the patrons to go home and just go scratch? You don't like it, we don't care. You
Tough
think that's
shit.
wise
Accept this mediocrity that we're ramming down your throat. You're just going to have to accept it.
Here's the thing. It's easier to say, fire Lane or fire Lamarillo, as opposed to fire Casey, that useless piece of shit. Fire Martin and Clutterbuck. It's almost like, what's that? On Donner, on Blitzen, on, that's what they could say for the Islanders team. It's like, fire Cizikas, fire Martin, fire Clutterbuck. Get rid of Engvall, Brock Nelson, and Palmieri.
And Palmieri all. Yeah.
Here's my thing. What do you think would happen if a soccer player said this overseas to the fan base? Said, if you don't like it, then just don't come to the games anymore.
We've talked about things like this before. It's like when Evan Neal, the genius himself, complained and bitched and moaned about, hey, the lion doesn't concern himself with the thoughts of the sheep. You're probably at home flipping hamburgers or something. The one thing you cannot do, I don't care. Anthony Rendon was upset about getting heckled during the game, and he went ahead and grabbed somebody by the shirt, and he got himself a little suspension. The one thing as a professional athlete you cannot do, you can't say anything bad about your fan base. That is the number one no-no.
They pay your salary.
Star.
They pay your salary.
That's correct. They are the only reason that you are able to have a job playing a child sport for a living. That's the only reason. Only reason at all. So, for me, it's just flabbergasting. And I know we're going to talk much more in depth about this on the Islanders show, and I'm sure we're going to dig much more into it. But it's like, when I saw that, I was like, you've got to be shitting me. It's pathetic. It's pathetic is what it is. X, what next comment we got here?
All right.
We got here from Freeze Warning, grumpy old man.
Texas A&M surely has someone lined up to take over the vacant head coaching role right now, right? Would this lure the likes of Dabo Sweeney, Duke coach Mike Elko? Well, after last night's game against North Carolina, he ain't high on my list. And Kansas coach Lance Leopold? I think they probably have a short list of names that they're looking at. But, I mean, why would Dabo Sweeney leave Clemson to go to Texas A&M?
He's loved in Clemson.
He's loved in Clemson. He's got
Doesn't his kid still play for the team there?
Yes, he does. He ain't going anywhere.
He ain't going anywhere.
No. To answer your question, I don't know who they'd have on the short list. I don't know if they would have anybody on the short list. I think the donors are just upset with not winning games. Another 6-4 season. They're shelling out. Their NIL deals are right at the top for all college teams. So if you as a donor are shelling out and your donor base is shelling out more money than any other fan base and you're losing games, that's a quick way to get fired. They expect results.
I just found it interesting that he's fired after a win. Usually you fire guys after losses. I mean, so, this has been in the works for a while. You fire somebody after a win. We're
going to talk about that. Just like the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton Oilers canned their coach last night after a win. I that is the one thing that flabbergasted me. I was about to mention that because like with Jimbo Fisher as well as with the Edmonton Oilers head coach. They both get fired after they win a game. That's just odd, no?
They don't like the product.
Yeah, like I said, it's baffling to me. It tells me that this has been in the works for a while.
Yep.
I mean, is Texas A&M really that bad? I don't know. But I mean, you got 6 wins. What was the expectations for Texas A&M going into the season?
9 wins. At least 9 wins. Grump, they're spending more money than any other donor base. When they're spending that much money and you're bringing in top recruiting class after top recruiting class, they're expecting you to win games.
They could still have 9 wins this year. I'm just surprised that he's fired after a win. It's like, I mean, they're gonna make a bowl game without a doubt. And I don't know what the rest of their schedule is down the stretch, but let's say they're 9-4. I mean, it's a successful season, I feel.
Yeah, they just got done absolutely pummeling Mississippi State. They play ACU, Abilene Christian Wildcats.
That's a win, so it'll be 7-4.
Then they play LSU.
That could go either way.
I'm not so sure about that one. And then they've got a bowl game.
Okay. So even so they could be 8-5, right?
Yeah, 8-5. But it's like I think that their fan base is tired of that.
Okay. I just said it's interesting that I'm just surprised he got fired yesterday. And it's a big, massive expenditure that they have to pay him.
So you look at in 2020, he was 9-1. That was that bubble where things were going well. They were flying high. They ended the season at number fifth best team in the nation with a 9-1 record. Then the year after that, they were 8-4. 2022, they're 5-7. And this year, they're 6-4. I mean, well, that's your reason why. They're you're seeing the product drop. And guess what? Believe it or not, some organizations, and I call all these college teams organizations now because, with the name, image, and likeness deals, but it's like some of these organizations don't put up with shitty performance. They don't tolerate that shit. And the guy from the head gets canned.
I don't know. The team improved over last year and the guy gets fired. Okay.
Last year is supposed to be like an anomaly, not supposed to happen.
Okay, but they improved. They're absolutely going to have a winning record this year.
Yeah. Well, they could lose the last 3 games.
They're not going to luse the last 3 games. They're not going to lose to Abilene Christian. Come on.
They might lose to Abilene Christian, Grump. Come on,
They're going down to Abilene Christian.
Alrighty. Now, we were talking a little bit about this here. Edmonton, cans their head coach. Now, this was just like 4 or 5 months ago. You have the team talking about the head coach there, and Connor McDavid commenting on it.
Yeah, I really believe that Woody's, right in the top 5, top 3 coaches in the league. I really believe that. We've had him here in Edmonton for a number of years. He's been part of the organization ever since I've been here. He knows us all really well. He's a great leader, great communicator. Has us playing a certain way that seems to be working, and the whole coaching staff honestly deserves a lot of credit. Yeah, I really believe that.
Is it not funny with how quick things can change in professional sports?
You want to know what's funny is the fact that he didn't even say that his own coach was the number 1 coach in the league.
Yeah. He said top 3. Well, now he probably said he's probably in the top 30 coaches in the league.
He said top 5.
Top 5, maybe top 3 is what he said.
Yeah. Think about it. He doesn't even have enough confidence in his coach to say that he's the best coach in the league.
He's not. I didn't know who he
played
was.
for him.
Yeah. How do you think that went down? Honestly,
not well.
I think Connor McDavid was happy he's gone.
Absolutely.
Because you remember that's another situation where he got fired after winning a game. They've struggled Jay Woodcroft, right? They had struggled all season long. They finally win a game, and they have the Islanders on Monday. The Islanders are in a slump, right? Let's say they beat the Islanders. Well, hey, they're 2-game winning streak. Who knows? They fire a coach after they win a game like that, and they let him go 3-9-1 before canning him. I don't know. It's an odd one.
Well, they'll be 4-9-1 after Monday. They're
going to get that. Lose, Grumpy?
Absolutely. No doubt in my mind.
Where do
The
you think the Islanders will place this year, Grumpy?
Where I think they're going to come in? What?
Where do you think they'll finish the season?
It's early.
It's early, but let's say 9th or 10th in the conference.
God.
Maybe that good.
I think realistically we could be eighth or seventh. Best case scenario, 7th.
They're not making the playoffs. Here's the thing though about the Islanders. There's problems in the locker room when the players are listening to the fans in the stands and commenting. And it's not the first time. Clutterbuck did it. Horvat did. At least Horvat knows how to answer that question from all those years in Vancouver. He knows how to answer the question. He had a comment today, and he handled it exactly the right way.
Think about how sharp and soft our beat writers are and our journalists are, to where they ask all these sharp and soft questions. In Vancouver, they're not asking you sharp and soft questions. They're asking you hard questions all the fucking time. And you better learn how to answer those. Otherwise, you're going to get drawn. And that fan base is a rabid fan base as well. The Islanders are like the we're just kind of bopping around. Hey, if we make the postseason, we're all happy. Thumbs up. That's how the majority of the fan base is, because we've been shitty for so long that mediocrity is something that fans get extremely elated about.
Because
the proper response to that question is, I apologize to the fans. We're working on it. We're going to try to do better. Something like that.
That's what Horvat said, because now the beat writers are asking about it. And, Cal Clutterbuck was like, he kind of – Cizikas was the worst, but Clutterbuck wasn't.
Clutterbuck answered on Tuesday or Thursday the week earlier saying, he's like, well, you could do what you want. You come here, you could scream your head off. You could cheer for us. You could boo for us. Blah, blah, blah. It was a no answer.
And Horvat said, yeah, we heard it, but we need to play better. It's not them, it's the players. So that's the way you answer the question.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're gonna dig much deeper. I don't want to kind of go ahead and dig too deep into it now, because I want to save that for Wednesday's show, because that will be a fun one just to go off on. But X, let's look at some more comments we got here. Freedom, fun, and adventure, grumpy old man.
Buyouts and JWO. I don't know what that. They are paid or determined by language in the contract, typically not dependent on whether the coach takes another job.
Wow. All righty. Goon, grumpy old man.
Speaking of floundering NHL coaches, at what point does Brian Daboll's seat begin to get increasingly warmer?
New York.
Not this year. Not at all. They're not even consider letting him go. They're a bad team.
Yeah, they suck.
The thing I always worry about, though, is it looks like there's chaos on the sidelines. That's what I worry about.
When things go bad, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Did Saquon get hurt today as well?
Was that X?
I think Saquon got hurt towards the end of the game.
He sucks. It was a waste to sign him back. They should have traded him away last year. We discussed this already.
Knee again.
Whoa! A round of applause all the way around. If Barkley got, let me pull that up.
I didn't hear he got hurt.
Look to see if he got hurt.
Is this like you with the really, really reliable information telling us that Will
One
Levis
of my buddies was watching the game.
Overall?
One of my buddies was watching the game at the same time. I was on the phone with him, and he said, "Oh my God, looks like Saquon got hurt his knee again." That's what he said. So I'm not sure.
Let's see here. Okay, X, keep popping up comments. I'll see if I see anything. Okay.
I don't get your notifications so tilting. I don't know what that means.
Notifications, TJ.
Okay.
TJ's fault.
Hit the notification bell.
Sure.
Freedom Fund Adventure says X, not way, and no how, sir. The schools didn't agree to assume contract to hire the coach they wanted. No school would saddle themselves with someone else's deal, and they have no leverage to get out.
Well, I just know that's what happened with Matt Rule's deal is when he left the Panthers and went to Nebraska, they paid a portion of his contract or paid his contract, whatever it was. He's getting that original contract that he had with the Panthers. He's getting that money.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm not showing that he's injured. I'm showing that he's frustrated. It said here at the end, Report says that Saquon Barkley had an animated discussion with head coach Brian Daboll after the Giants offense got stopped on 4th down near the goal line. The Giants receivers were visibly frustrated as well. The Giants defense got an interception to get them inside the 10, and they came away with 0 points.
Tommy DeVito's not a good enough quarterback. I mean, I don't know if they give Saquon the ball or they put the ball in the hands of Tommy frickin' DeVito.
Oh,
He
somebody
blows.
just knocked out in this Raiders game. He is out cold. Oh my God.
Okay, X, let's keep focusing on what we're doing here, huh? I'll tell you one thing. Players, shut the fuck up and listen to the coach. Simple. Barkley, you haven't done anything in 7 years. You haven't done anything since your rookie year, my guy. Sit down.
It's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
How has he looked this year?
Categorically not true. You're wrong.
How has he looked
this year? He is no quarterback on that team. So guess what happens? When they play against you, they just stack the box.
Okay.
So have your quarterback beat us throwing.
Don't say he hasn't done anything since his rookie year. Just wrong.
How are guys like Bijan Robinson putting up more yards per carry and looking better this season than Saquon Barkley? How is that the case? He doesn't have a quarterback there in Atlanta.
Bijan Robinson actually is a quarterback who can throw the ball.
No, please stop. Desmond Ridder is not a good quarterback. Come on.
He's not even the starting quarterback for them anymore.
People were complaining because of Bijan Robinson's usage.
Yeah, he was not getting used enough. There's a difference.
Well, guess what? Saquon Barkley doesn't get used either.
Are you kidding me? He had almost 20 carries again today. What are you talking about? He sucks. He's an above average back, and we paid an above average. Thank God it was only a 1-year contract. This guy
had 13 carries today. He had 13 carries.
Don't say almost 20.
13 is not almost 20. He had 13 carries today and only 1 pass thrown to him today. He is their offense, and they're not getting him the ball. Period. Because Tommy DeVito, and it's no, I mean, here's the thing. He is not an NFL quarterback. What do you
expect? He's a 3rd-string quarterback.
When Tyrod Taylor was in there, Saquon was a weapon. When Daniel Jones was playing, he was a weapon. When Tommy DeVito's in there, that's it. He wants to throw the ball down the field. No.
I'm just telling you. The numbers don't look great. Numbers don't
They're
look
a bad
great.
Team. They have a bad offensive line with no weapons and absolutely no quarterback.
On average, he's getting around 20 carries a game. On average.
He's not averaging 20 carries a game. He is absolutely not averaging 20 carries a game.
When you have 36 carries a game, Grumpy, in one game there, that's going to go ahead and help that number, right?
Here's his numbers: 12, 17, 24, 21, 36, 16, 30.
13. Yeah.
Look at that. I mean,
he's around 20 carries a game. That's around 20 carries a game.
They're not utilizing him in the passing game like they have in the past, which is, to me, is a huge mistake. It's a huge
But the thing is, TJ, when you're getting the ball and they absolutely know that all you're going to do is run, you can't go anywhere. They're stacking the box.
You
want him to juke out everybody on the defense?
4 targets, 7 targets, 5 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets, 4 targets. He's getting
look at the catches. Look at the catches. It's not like he's not catching the ball.
Dude. Okay. You look at the yards, hasn't been there that much. You look at the production.
There's no blocking. They're a terrible team. What are you talking
Austin
about?
Eckler gets like 7 to 8 targets a game.
And they have some other weapons besides him.
And then runs the ball like 15 times a game at least.
And all the goal line work. Saquon should be getting all the goal line work, every single bit of it.
I assume that's why he's upset, because they didn't run it on 4th down on the goal line.
They should.
Again,
Tommy DeVito's hands? He's not the only one.
No, they didn't run it. They didn't run it on 4th down. That's what I'm saying. Not the fact they didn't run it on 4th down.
What were Tommy DeVito's numbers today? I'm just interested.
He's not good.
Yeah, no kidding. He's not good. Holy shit. Touchdown. Zach Wilson. What a play.
Hey, Tommy DeVito. Hunter in full action tonight.
Tommy DeVito had 86 passing yards today. Let's take a look.
And you're putting the ball in his hands.
I don't know, Grumpy. You have no fucking idea. I'm just saying, I literally just said, I think it's because on 4th down, when they did not give them the ball, did they try to go ahead? Did they try to trick play on 4th down? What happened on that 4th down? You're commenting on something you have no idea about.
I'm going to guarantee they passed the ball on 4th down. I put the ball in that kid's hands.
4 to 27, 86 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick.
Yikes. Yikes. 3.2 average on completed passes? Yikes.
He's not good.
No kidding, he's not good. That's why he
That's
don't
my
put the ball in
point.
his
They know
hand.
that they're not going to throw the ball because they've got a piece of shit at quarterback, so they load the box up.
Good running backs find a way.
Bullshit.
I never saw Adrian Peterson complaining, shit, I got Teddy Bridgewater back there as my quarterback. I can't run and be AP player of the year because I've got a shitty quarterback. The motherfucker was just a good running back. This guy is a fucking above average running back, and that's it. He
And I
gets
guarantee
hyped because
they-
he
All right,
won
all right,
good
here's the
year.
thing. Move
His best
on.
year was his rookie year.
Move on. Everyone knows you have a hatred for Saquon Barkley because the Giants picked
The
him at number
numbers
2,
show.
and
The
you
numbers
hated
show
him.
him right.
You have hated him since the day he was drafted. You even thought his rookie year, well, it was just okay. No, you're wrong.
His rookie year was his
And now
best
you're
year.
even saying the only year he did anything was his rookie year, which is also incorrect.
His best year was his rookie year. Do you disagree?
Okay, that's something totally different.
You
said-
peaked your rookie season. Let me ask you this. Do running backs when they're 28 play better when they're 23? No. His best season, his entire career will be his rookie year.
The funny thing is, you think that Saquon Barkley should be a Hall of Fame running back comparing him to Adrian Peterson.
When you're drafting a running back and as a top 5 pick, you better be a fucking Hall
How
of
many
Fame caliber running
how many
back.
top 5 running backs are Hall of Famers?
Do we have to go down the list?
I guarantee there's a lot more top 5 running backs that were drafted that aren't Hall of Famers than that are.
I'm going to say when you're looking at the share of Hall of Fame caliber running backs, the majority of them were top 5 or top 10 picks. I might even
You're
grant
wrong.
you top 10 picks.
Reggie Bush,
I'm
wasn't he
wrong?
drafted in the top 5? He a Hall
He's
of
not a
Famer?
Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer.
I'll pull it.
Reggie Bush had a good career, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
He's
I
not
don't
a
want to
Hall
go
of
down
Famer.
this rabbit hole because TJ has just a blatant freaking buy. He hates Saquon Barkley. And that's why I hate when you hate somebody, you use this as the bully pulpit to see why he's bad. And you don't even give a shit about, anything that's actually real because you don't like him. That's the way you are. When you don't like somebody, you just don't. It doesn't matter what they do. He could have 4,000 yards rushing season and you'd still find some excuse not to like him. It's the way you are.
All right. Keep going with comments. I'll pull up so I can get you the numbers that we're looking at, okay?
There we go.
Drew says, first Cliff Kingsbury, now Jimbo Fisher. I wonder who's the next Texas A&M quarter coach who's going to get fired. Probably the next guy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. By the by, so Saquon Barkley was the number 2 overall running back selected.
Yes.
Right.
Bijan, number 2 overall player selected. Bijan Robinson was number 5. Ezekiel Elliott was number 4. I don't think he's making the Hall of Fame.
The game has changed. The game has changed. No one dressed. The game has changed. Bijan Robinson he's a multi-purpose back. He's not just a running back. The same thing with Saquon Barkley. The game has changed. It's totally a throwing game now. Rushing numbers don't mean as much as they used to. Everyone throws the ball.
In the last 10 years, there's only been 3 running backs drafted in the top 5. Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson.
Okay, and Ezekiel Elliott, a Hall of Fame running back?
Elliott was much better than Barkley in his career.
Played for
He also had a
Dallas,
quarterback
that offensive
as well.
line.
And he also had a quarterback. And had
Is
wide
Elliott gonna be
receivers
a Hall of
and tight ends
Famer?
on that team also.
Is Elliott going to be a Hall of Famer? Probably not.
Well,
No. I don't think
it's
so.
literally Saquon Barkley and that's it on the Giants. They have no other people.
Nothing else.
Nobody else. They drafted Kadarius Toney, who absolutely sucked.
He's gone
Yep.
Been gone
He was
for a
so
while.
good that they traded him away. Think about that.
last year. Got rid of him last year. You look at Atlanta. Atlanta has weapons. You got Kyle Pitts. They got Drake London. I mean, they got Bijan Robinson. The Tyler Algier is a good back too. And most backfields are by committee now to keep guys fresh. There's a high attrition rate for running backs. It's just super physical. I mean, it just is what it is.
It's why drafting them in the first round or as a high first round pick is moronic. Moronic.
So you would just, well, yeah, okay, he might be the best. It's why Jonathan Taylor slipped to the second round, right? You think he's been pretty damn good.
But this is my point. Like you look at it too, right? Okay, back in 2012, I'll just list in the last since 2000, there's only been a handful of running backs drafted in the top 5. Trent Richardson, absolute bust, right? That's an absolute bust written all over it. You got a lot of guys who were drafted late in the first round. You've got your Donald Browns. You've got your Ron Danes, who was 11th. My God, Ron Dane was 11th. Oof.
Okay,
That's bad.
you could do any position and do the same thing, and just as many guys bust out. You're just wrong.
If you look at the Hall of Fame caliber running backs, the majority of them come in the earlier selections.
I guess Christian McCaffrey was a real shitty pick then. I guess
Terrell Davis was a 6th round pick.
Okay, I could throw an anecdote out there. LaDainian Tomlinson, top 5 pick. Adrian Peterson, 7th overall pick. When you're drafting a running back early, they better be a fucking workhorse. They better be one of the best players out there on the field for a long time.
Injuries happen to running backs.
It all depends on how good your team is, too. It all depends on how good your team is. Think about it. Carolina Panthers, how many games did they lose with Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the league, on their team? And they still lost all the time.
He was still putting up yards. He was still.
Doesn't matter. Their team sucked.
He was selected 8th. He was an 8th overall pick.
My point being,
they should have waited till the 2nd round. Let somebody else get him. Right? No sense drafting him at number 8. You know what? We're not going to draft Christian McCaffrey because he's a running back. We don't care that he's the best player in the draft. We're going to wait. We'll pick a running back in the 3rd or 4th round because it's not worth picking a guy like that at number 8.
McCaffrey with Carolina didn't have a quarterback. They didn't have weapons.
Look at the numbers he put up.
Hold on. They didn't have weapons, but he single-handedly was successful because he's a good running back, a damn good running back.
If he was so successful, why didn't that team win games?
He doesn't control what they do on defense. I'm not asking Barkley to win games for the Giants. I'm asking him to fucking run for yards. I'm asking him to catch balls. I'm asking him to score touchdowns. I'm asking him to be successful.
He's hitting the backfield. He touches the ball. There's guys all over him. He's hitting the backfield, I want to say, on 75% of the plays he gets the ball. He's hit at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield because their offensive line sucks. You want who sucks the most? Evan Neal is the worst offensive lineman in the fucking league. Your guy, Evan Neal.
Grumpy just has to be all. Grumpy's all fussy.
Evan Neal was drafted in the top. Where was Evan Neal drafted? Where's that piece of shit drafted?
I like Evan Neal. I still
bust. Think he's an absolute freaking bust. Billy Bust. He's the worst offensive lineman ever drafted in the last 50 years in the NFL. Evan Neal sucks.
Oh, I love it. Grump, what do you really think about Evan Neal? I want to know.
Saquon Barkley's like Evan Neal. Hey, anytime he gets yards, it's not because of Evan Neal. He's like Mekhi Becton. That's what he is.
Oh, goodness.
Evan Neal is horrid. There's a reason why he slipped in the draft. I remember when people thought, he should be the number 1 pick. He should be top 5 pick. TJ was gushing all over him. You don't know shit about quarterbacks, running backs, or offensive linemen. That's been established.
I love myself some Evan Neal, Grumpy. Love him. Love Evan Neal. Let's continue with some comments.
You're the only one, him and his mom.
He doesn't, you know what? The line doesn't concern himself with the thoughts of the sheep who flip hamburgers like the grumpy old man. That's all he's got to say, Grump.
He's not getting a 2nd contract that much.
He will. Please stop.
He'll get a 2nd contract. It'll be for McDonald's University.
Oh, man. Drew L said, I don't think that Dayball seat's hot. Joe Schoen, hand picked out Dayball, and Dayball won Coach of the Year last year. The Giants just massively overachieved last year. They need a new quarterback and offensive line.
Particularly,
like we said, that Daniel Jones re-signing was atrocious.
Yeah, it's of course. I mean, we talked about it when it happened. A shitty selection. That's it. Bad selection. Couldn't think anything else to line. All right, it's not a good QB. Simple. Here you go. Goon Grump.
Well, old frown face, a.k.a. Bill Belichick, make it to win number 348 to break Schuler's record. Will he soon be out of there like poop through a goose? I'm glad this comment came up.
Because we're going to talk about that. Did you watch the game this morning?
I watched the second half on.
Oof.
Interesting. Mac Jones threw an interception inside the...
Hold on, I'll show you because I've got a few clips I want to paint the picture with.
Okay.
So yes, Mac Jones. There are some Patriot fans that out there, grumpy old man. We've seen it. We've seen teams burn jerseys before, but now Mac Jones has joined that illustrious list here.
There we go.
Burning yes, that's a pretty big fire over here.
Wow, that went up.
So upset burning jerseys. What would the Patriot fans have to be all so upset about? Burning their jerseys, grumpy old man. Well, let's go ahead and look at what I think you're going to talk about this interception here when they were rolling right down the field here, Grumpy. They should have come away with points. I'll let you watch it here.
Jones on the play fake. Intercepted.
That's a terrible interception.
That might be like you talk about a guy who has zero confidence. He needs to retire. Holy shit. He's got honestly
to retire. That he's got to leave that franchise. I don't think Mac Jones is the greatest quarterback. They don't know what the hell. New England is another.
He's
terrible team. Talk about a bad game. The Giants play New England in 2 weeks. That's a game that could be, I don't know, 6-3. Mac Jones will not be the quarterback. After that interception, which was 4 minutes to go, they got the ball back and they had a 2-minute drill to go down the field. And they sat Mac Jones. They brought in Bailey Zappi, who they put on waivers.
It's Zap time, baby.
Zappy fever. Got the fever.
Zap attack, baby.
Zap Nation.
And he proceeded to do he got a first down or two, and then he proceeds to do a fake spike. And
we'll talk about that guy. Damn, Grumpy. I want to talk about this play first. I have all this shit queued up that we're going to show the replays on.
Well, maybe you can tell me what's going on before the show, as opposed to the spring, because I don't know what you have lined up.
I know.
I love
you just show up. You just show up,
anything that's happening.
The Grumpy just shows up.
We're just supposed to use telepathy to figure out what TJ has planned for the show.
You just show up and just put a smile on your face.
Viewers.
Here it is. This is the problem I have about this play. This is why I think he's done. Look at this shit. He's got nobody in his face, and he's fucking just like throwing off his back foot like a bitch, like 3 yards away from him. That's what I'm saying. The guy just doesn't have it anymore. He's done.
I tell you what, he's been hit so many times.
The ball got tipped. Did you see that? Look at it. Watch the flight trajectory. It definitely got tipped.
That's a terrible throw.
Watch, it gets tipped.
Okay, that ball's never reaching.
It was already a duck. It was already a duck. Yeah.
I'm just saying it did get tipped though.
Gazeki was wide.
He was
open.
He was. He needed to put a little bit more oomph behind it.
When you have it reminds me of David Carr.
Looks like Tua.
It reminds me of David Carr. He got hit so many damn times, he just could never do it. Even though he was a talented guy, just couldn't do it. Just hit too often. And he just got it in his mind that anytime somebody comes near him, he's going to get smacked. So he starts doing stupid shit like this. I'm saying it's a problem. So now you were talking. Go ahead, Grump. Finish up. I'm sorry.
He's been hammered all year.
Yes.
Their offensive line has been abysmal. I'm not excusing him. He needs to leave there. I mean, they're not going to pick up his fifth-year option. He will not take another snap for New England. I'm going to guarantee it that, and I'm glad you're showing this.
Here is the clip after the interception was thrown. He went to go talk with Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator, on the sidelines, and this is what happened. I'll let you watch it. I want to get your opinion.
I thought that was actually earlier in the game.
Maybe this is earlier in the game. Bill O'Brien not happy, yelling, screaming, getting unbelievably frustrated. It looks like Mac Jones is just like, oh, fuck. He's just done. He's done.
If I was him, I'd say you can put somebody else in to get abused like that, then that's fine.
This was earlier in the game.
Okay, earlier in the game?
Earlier in the game.
No matter what, he's getting yelled at, getting abused out there. Now, this is the play by Happy that you're talking about. They moved a little bit down the field. There's 37 seconds left. It's 1st and 10. They're still down by 4. They could still come back and win this game, mind you. They go to spike the ball. Wait a second. It's a fake spike.
Woo! 4 guys.
We could have literally just rolled out and run for the first down, but
there were 4 guys on that wide receiver.
Quadruple coverage.
When the fake spike is not open, my guy, throw it to your tight end right here.
Or roll out to the left. Roll out to the left. You pick up a first down.
Okay. Bailey Zappi was cut in training camp. They went into the regular season with no backup quarterbacks. No one picked up Bailey Zappi. They thought so much of Bailey Zappi that he got waived. My prediction is you might see Will Grier as their quarterback because they have a bye this week, you might see Will Greer quarterback against the Giants. They are horrible. Another team with no, and I mean absolutely no weapons. None. There's a reason why they're bad. There's
Well,
a
isn't
reason
it
why they're
crazy?
bad. They have turned back into the pre-Brady Patriots, which are historically bad teams for years and years and years. That's what they are now.
N'Keal Harry, wasn't that who they picked up?
And Brady said he sucks.
They had the opportunity. Did you see the draft picks that went? Yes. Yeah, the draft picks that they could have picked up, and they said, no, let's go ahead and pick up N'Keal Harry. God almighty.
Deebo Samuel said, man, I want to play for the Patriots. I don't want to play with Tom Brady. And Bill Belichick wouldn't listen to the scouts. He picked whoever his buddy said, pick N'Keal Harry. Now, N'Keal Harry couldn't get any separation in college. If you can't get separation in college, you're never going to get it in the pros.
Nope.
And he's already out of the NFL.
Yep. They could have had Deebo Samuel. Think about that.
Yeah.
You were mentioning though, he was blanketed by two guys with two corners or two defensive backs.
There's not even a Patriot in the area.
Maybe he thought the Patriots were wearing the white jerseys today. They're out there in the whites.
It's like Sam Darnold. He was seeing ghosts out there playing against the Patriots, except now it's flipped.
But it doesn't matter. But this, honestly, this bails out Bill Belichick because the last couple of weeks, everyone was saying, Belichick's going to get fired. Belichick's going to get fired. Now everything's going to be on Mac Jones for 2 weeks. This is the worst record this is the worst a Belichick team has been since the year before Brady.
Wow.
When they wound up being 6-10 overall, they're 2-8. But this team, You're not going to see any improvement in this team. They might win a game or two down the stretch. You think they're beating Kansas City?
No.
Or Buffalo?
No.
Or the Jets? They ain't beating the Jets.
Didn't they beat Buffalo once this year?
They did beat Buffalo. Talk about, the earth flipping on its axis. Then Mac Jones
beat him now.
Mac Jones drove him down the field at the end of the game and beat Buffalo. But you know what? Mac Jones is not the answer. Bill Belichick ruined him last year by making Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator, who's always been a defensive coach. He was the offensive coordinator. And Bill O'Brien, I love it. Again, coach, you listen to New England people. They got a new coach now. It's going to make the team better. Mac Jones is going to be great. No. Coaches don't win games. Coaches lose them. Players win games, not coaches.
Yep.
You're seeing it right here in living color.
Yep, absolutely.
It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. That team sucks. Bill Belichick needs to go.
I was wondering now, do you think he'll break the wins record?
Not with the Patriots.
Okay, you think somebody else will pick him up though?
Yes.
I don't think.
Oh, good.
I don't think his style works in the NFL anymore. I just don't. How many quarterbacks are going to let you coach him high? Like his film sessions where he calls Brady, I could have got Johnny out of fucking Foxborough High to make a better pass than that. How many of these soft players that are in the NFL now are going to take that type of abuse in front of the team?
Well, here's the thing. I think he only did that shit with Brady. I don't think he does it with the other quarterbacks. Or don't.
I don't know if he does, but that's the way he coaches. He singles out guys in film. And
I think here's the thing. I think he didn't really like Brady because they always compared, is it Belichick or is it Brady? Is it Belichick or is it Brady? I think that shit got under his skin.
Well, we found out.
I'm gonna give you a different angle. I think what it is here is this, and now this is going to be a pro Belichick comment. Okay, so keep your panties out. I was about to say, don't go ahead and get your panties wadded up. I think when you talk about how the best player on the team and the best player to ever play the sport needs to improve, it causes true professionals to say, shit, okay, how can I improve as well? I think it's a good way to go ahead and motivate others. And here's the thing. If you talk about it, like, I don't know the relationship Bill and Brady had behind closed doors, but if he understands that's what's trying to happen, I've got no problem with it. So maybe it was a motivation tactic, and maybe it did help but I do agree with X. I'm not sure he does the same exact thing with everybody else.
I don't think he does.
That's what he does. You're going to tell me he's at 70 years old, he's changing his coaching style?
No, I'm
saying
just saying
he
he
did
had
it
a
with certain
vendetta.
players.
I think he had a vendetta against Brady because he was jealous of the fact, or got under his skin, the fact
I
that it
dis-
was the comparison between the two.
It's
I
not that. It was trying to get everybody else to work harder. You pick it at the best player on the history of the game. It forces others to look internally to work harder. I think that's why he did it with Brady. I don't think he does it with others, but I think he did it with Brady, and he'd do it with guys. If he had another guy, if he had Patrick Mahomes, he would be doing shit like that to Patrick Mahomes too, because he's that damn good. That's what I think that's the type of coach I think he is.
Belichick's record without Brady is 82-98.
I know.
So, I mean, if you're 82-98, what do you think that? I mean, I'm not fact. Okay, how many? I don't even think it's 82-98. He had 5 years. I don't know. Okay, 82-98.
We get it. We get it. They don't win
It's
games.
his thing.
I understand.
It's not even close to a winning record. Not even close.
Okay. You guys were mentioning, I can't remember if it was you or Grumpy or X who mentioned this. It seems like there's a lot of Achilles injuries in the NFL.
It was me. There's a shit ton of them.
Now, this is
Oh,
Marlon
God, no,
Humphreys.
somebody else blow out an Achilles.
Okay, you don't really see much. That's the one thing about Achilles tears. You just see guys go down like they were shot. And he tore his Achilles as well.
That's a big loss for Baltimore.
Huge loss. Huge loss. And he tore his Achilles there. There's a lot of people. You're right, X. I just wanted to X. I had nothing but fair.
And now was that played on a turf field or was that all grass field?
That's a grass field.
I just think it looked like it was in Cleveland.
Okay.
Right?
It was in Cleveland. Yeah, it's a grass field.
Home game for Cleveland. Yeah.
But there's a lot of Achilles tears this year. We don't see a lot of those always.
That's been the big injury this year.
I wonder why.
Script.
I just wonder why. Is that X?
The script. The NFL script.
Jesus Christ. Let's get some more comments in X before I start introducing new topics. You write two pops, Scrum.
All these losers screaming fire Lane will be the first ones to kiss old man Lou's ass for some fluke Eastern Conference final run during COVID. The Islanders fan base is so dense. Lou worship is beyond comprehension. Why do Islander fans like Lou Lamoriello? Because he was the GM when, after decades of mediocrity, they got past the first round of the playoffs for a couple of seasons in a row. And the Islander fans have been watching losers their whole lives. So that's like a win for them. Not for me, it's not.
I made a tweet saying it's more on the GM than coach at this point. And somebody made a snide remark back. Yeah, I totally forgot that Lou inherited a team that was a perennial playoff team. And he went ahead and just picked up the boat right where it was. People think that because the team went from historically bad to we make the playoffs every once in a while, we make the playoffs every year, every other year, that's a success.
Did you respond with no? We just traded away all of our draft picks.
I don't even respond to idiots like that. I don't even bother. It's then you get into a pissing match and you end up like Phil's facts, just texting and tweeting people all day long. So I just try not to even message back.
Fair enough. Grumpy, this one's for you.
Says I started Adams, but otherwise suck at lineups.
God, look at him go, man. He's putting up some points today. Shit.
God. There you go. Next comment there, X.
Drew says, I petitioned for this podcast to become a fantasy football contest. Who's with me?
Oh, God, no.
Ooh.
Drew L says here, Kyler Murray and Trey McBride are a dynamic duo.
They looked really good together.
Likes throwing those tight ends.
Goon said here, what can James Franco do to get back in everybody's good graces? What does James Franco do? What did he do to get in trouble?
I don't know, but I think maybe sexual harassment, whatever that. And then all his buddies, they all cut ties with him. I'm like, really? What kind of friend are you? I don't know. I really don't know, and honestly, I don't care. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, what the hell happened to James Franco?
I didn't even know what happened to him. I don't know.
I'm just assuming it was sexual harassment. Isn't that what everything?
That's how everything is today. Something like that.
Freedom Front Adventure says Jimbo will get a job, but it will be with a school that is not on the level of his last two. The Athletic had a recent article that men who participate in fantasy football leagues have gay tendencies. Agree?
Oh, wow. I heard gay tendencies. What was that? Oh, God.
I guess Freedom Fun Adventure. Does he play fantasy? I don't know.
Yeah.
How else did you know that? I don't know. Drew says, you know who's also a good quarterback that TJ refused to admit he's wrong on? Sam Howell. Another 310-yard passing game and 3 touchdowns with no picks. Sam Howell is not a good quarterback.
I was about to say, did you watch today's game? There's something that Sam Howell has that not many quarterbacks do. Now, he did a little dump-off pass, a Billy dump-off to Brian Robinson Jr., who ran like 60 yards for a touchdown pass today. Now, this was to tie the game up. There was 1 minute and 1 second left. This was you got Washington. The Commanders are down by 7 at this point.
You're
I'll
at
let
the
you
35.
watch. Was that?
You're at the 35.
Yeah, I know I'm about to say that. We're at the 35-yard line. You're down by 7 with 1 minute and 1 second left, and it's 3rd and 10. Let's see what Sam Howell does, and tell me if you notice the same thing I noticed.
Manageable. 3rd down and 10. Howell scanning the field, throwing over the middle. It's caught at the 15. De'Ami Brown, he'll take it to the house for the touchdown.
They score the touchdown. Does anybody else notice how? Look at this pocket.
Yes, nobody touching, nobody near him.
He throws it. They're playing zone. You got 2 guys who collide into each other because the guy finds right to the soft spot of the zone. And then Brown does the rest of the work here. He runs it the next 15 yards in for the touchdown.
Okay, that's still a nice throw.
It's nice. A good throw. It's a good throw. It's a good arm strength on it. I'm just saying, you're not going to be in a situation where your pockets look like this all the time. I will say this, Sam Howell.
Why do you want to minimize what he did? It's a nice play. If you're trying to minimize it by looking at a play like that, you're barking up the wrong tree.
It's a good throw. I'm saying it's a good throw. How many guys have time like that in the pocket in the NFL? I'm saying Seattle sucks.
Okay. But
I'm saying Seattle has looked poor as of recent.
What does that have to do? The kid made a good you're criticizing him because he had time.
We're talking about the 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think it's explainable.
Oh, my God. Did you watch the whole game? No.
I watched the game, Grump.
You watched the whole game.
I watched the whole game. It was 9-9 until it was into the middle of the 3rd quarter. Just puttering around. Both of these teams puttering around 9-9. Oh, I'm sorry. Just because we start throwing for a whole bunch of yards late and teams start playing prevent defense and you got perfect pockets and you're just playing 7-on-7s out there in the field, I'm not giving you credit for that. Sorry, man.
Oh, my God.
What?
Like I said, when you don't like somebody, this is the play that you're going to put your hat on to say that he's a shitty quarterback when he zips a ball in for a touchdown. I don't think you
notice the same
don't
thing.
understand.
I'm saying, do you notice the same thing? That's it.
Yeah, he made a really good throw. He had good protection. He made a really good throw.
He did make a good throw with good
guy in stride running, and he runs it right into the end zone because it was a great pass. That's to me, that's not a negative. I don't care what you say.
I don't think he's a good quarterback. He has moments.
We know that. We know it. So
he has moments. It's all
every week
quarterbacks.
you're going to roll out Sam Howell, how he's a shitty quarterback until the end of time. Even if he wins a Super Bowl or 2, he's a
just
shitty
like just like you talk shit about Baker Mayfield
and Saquon Barkley and Kyler Murray, and just guys you don't like.
Okay, how has Baker Mayfield looked this year that you're trying to trumpet Baker Mayfield?
They're leading division.
Yep, pretty good.
They're leading the division.
Are they leading division over the Saints now?
Yeah, they're leading division.
All right, I'll be back in a second.
All right, X. All I'm this. I'm not impressed by the guy much. I thought that was a play where it's a good throw. It's a great pocket though, too, right? It's not just him. Okay, when you look at for example, we've talked about guys who struggled this year. Joe Burrow's looked bad. Look at his pockets. Always got guys collapsing on top of him, getting sacked left and right. He hasn't looked great. Wide receivers dropping the football. What, Grump?
You realize that's not what Washington's not a great pass protecting team. That play they were. Maybe you should show some plays what he does when he's scrambling out of the pocket. Maybe those are the ones you should show because the kid, it has mobility. I don't think he's the be-all, end-all of quarterbacks, but he's absolutely serviceable in the NFL. It's only 2nd year in the league. I just don't understand the hatred for him. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying he's great, but for a 2nd-year player, he's pretty darn good with a team that's not good. The Commanders are not a good team. He has
I disagree.
maneuverability. He's able to throw guys open. He's not a bad player.
Sam is the most passing yards in the NFL this year. You know that, right?
Well, and you think he's terrible. Okay.
I'm just
I mean,
saying
he
there's a
looked-
reason for that. He's not, guess what? You have the most passing yards in the NFL. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL. He's not even a guy who's top 10. I'm
Nobody
saying there's a
said he's the
reason
best
that he's got
quarterback in the NFL
top. I'm saying there's a reason he's got the most passing yards in the NFL, Grump.
because they're trailing all the time because their defense is terrible. And so what? The kid can throw the ball. He's in a bad situation. I'm baffled. I'm baffled.
Don't worry.
Next comment.
I'll pull up. Here's the thing, motherfucker. Grumpy, I am trying to go ahead and pull up a point. X has stepped away. Please don't tell me next comment. If you can't carry it on, I'm still trying to finish up my thought on Sam Howell. I got a few things. If you want to read comments, you could do what you want, my friend. I still don't want to. I want a few things on Sam Howell I want to talk about, bud.
All right, I'm back. What's up?
You
Sorry.
right, the pop says Call of Duty is for Lamanites.
Lamanites and Calamari.
The Lamanites.
When you're looking here, I'm interested to see how many of his yards come in the third and fourth quarter when they're down. How many of those yards are garbage yards? You talk about, you're extremely critical of guys like Mike Evans, who are just in a spot to where he picks up a whole bunch of garbage receiving yards, which is why the reason you think that he's always overrated. I'm thinking it's very similar like that to Sam Howell. Very similar.
Do you know, or you just making
I'm going to pull up the stat to show you and prove that to you, Grumpy. Yes,
Okay.
that's what I'm going to be working on here in a second.
That's fine.
X, if you can keep popping comments up.
He has one up. Joseph C says, I am amazed at the money these colleges have to burn that A&M can eat. It's actually $77 million.
What?
Greg Prado says, Mr. TJ, I sent 2 clips to the Isles Never Say Die on Twitter that may be of interest tonight, or maybe not.
Okay. We shall see. I'll pull it up here in a sec.
We'll see. Zach Wilson is using his legs a lot tonight.
Well, he's another guy who can move out of the pocket. Looked pretty good so far tonight. Joseph C. says Eric Bieniemy is doing a great job in Washington. Should he be the next head coach in Washington? X, you have any comments on Eric Bieniemy at all?
I don't know. What's Washington's record this year?
I think they might be 5-5 now.
You talking about the Commanders?
Yeah.
Yes,
They're 4-6.
4-6.
Think about that. Almost a 500 team. Wait till this next stat I show you. They're 4-6, almost a 500 team. Just keep that in mind.
I don't know, maybe they can use a coach.
Look at the teams they beat.
Nope. There's a reason I'm telling you to keep that in mind. Okay? This is the reason why. When you look at his stats when the team is winning, losing, look at this. Ahead. He's only got 542 passing yards while ahead. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Behind, 1,400 passing yards while behind. Their team is almost 500. The majority of his passing yards all come while losing when he's just throwing a whole bunch of freaking garbage time yards. 1,400 of his 2,700 yards come while behind. They're a team that's 4-6.
Well, you got to throw the tide in there.
Someone tied.
So he's really good when they're tied. So tells me, well, guess what? He's really good in those situations. Almost 70% completion percentage when he's ahead and 71% when he's tied. And
I'm saying the reason he's throwing for 300 plus yards a game is they're consistently behind losing games, and he's just throwing to try to get them back into opportunities.
You realize his numbers.
QB.
You realize his numbers per attempt are almost identical, no matter the situation. Do you realize that?
Look at the amount of total yards, Grump. You go from a team that can run a balance attack.
Like I said,
7 picks while behind.
If you extrapolate the ahead, 73 attempts, 542 yards, that's 3 times roughly less than when he's behind. He would have over 1,500 yards. The same case when he's tied, 70 attempts. That's exactly 270 if you multiply it by 3. That's another 1,500 yards.
They're 4-6. They've won 4 games. In order to win games, you have to be ahead. You've won 4 of your games.
But
at those games, you were ahead, and you've lost 6 of games.
But look at his
point,
numbers.
you're behind.
Look at his numbers. Everything's almost identical. It doesn't matter if he's ahead, behind, or tied. It's just the amount of passes that he's making. And that look at the yards per attempt, the average yards, 7.4 when he's ahead, 6.8 when he's behind, 7.2 when he's tied. His numbers are almost identical in every situation. You're wrong.
He's launching the ball more. He gets a whole bunch of garbage yards at the end of games. And it'll be proven.
But
it will be proven.
It doesn't matter. They're all the same. His stats are freaking identical in every situation.
It will be proven. That's all I got to say. It will be proven. And it continues to get proven. It will be proven, Grump.
Well, let's put that up on the chalkboard. TJ hates Sam Howell.
Why
don't we bring up Kenny Pickett's numbers? They're behind a lot.
Pickett. Okay, they're not behind a lot.
Kenny Pickett's not Sam Howell. Kenny Pickett's not even close to being as good as Sam Howell. Not even close. There is no comparison. No.
I think they're similar to both average QBs.
Sam Howell's way better than Kenny Pickett.
Sam Howell is better than Kenny Pickett.
Way better.
I think they're both average.
No.
You think Sam Howell is above average?
I think Sam Howell is above average as a quarterback.
And also, Kenny Pickett has a way better defense than Sam Howell has.
Man, a lot of people forget who the Commanders are, but that's fine. The Commanders have weapons. They do.
Who?
You're talking about
Warren is good.
Terry McLaurin's good. Curtis Samuel is good. They have weapons. They have got Brian Robinson. They have weapons. They have weapons.
Najee Harris and
Jalen Warren and Deontay Johnson and George Pickens.
Deontay Johnson, absolutely. George Pickens, really? I think George Pickens is. I think that his value is
just as many weapons. They have a very similar weapons.
Except Pittsburgh has a better defense.
Much better.
And Washington has a better quarterback.
Yep. Let's continue on here with comments.
Better than Tiny Hands Kitten Mittens.
Joseph C. Grumpy.
Yeah. Tommy's parents must have money because they live 15 minutes away from MetLife Stadium.
I guess they do.
Maybe so. Goon says, what's the most preposterous, freakish thing that can happen in tonight's Jets game? A game-winning safety in overtime, another butt fumble, a quarterback contracting mononucleosis. Well, we already saw Zach Wilson jump in from the 5-yard line, but he stepped out as he jumped on the last step, so they pulled it back. They get the ball at the 2, and then Breece Hall runs it into the end zone for a touchdown, holding. So they scored touchdowns on 2 straight plays. Neither one counts, and they have to eventually wind up settling for a field goal. That's typical Jets.
That is typical Jets. Drew L., grumpy old man.
Well, Taylor Heineke got hurt, so that's why Ritter played today. Atlanta doesn't have a quarterback. Period.
Yeah. Drew L. also says here, by the way, just wanted to remind certain haters of RJ Barrett who watch this podcast that RJ is putting up all-star numbers this season.
How many shots is he taking to get those numbers? That's what I want.
All of them.
What's his shooting percentage?
Pull up here for RJ Barrett. Shooting percentage so far this year is 48.7.
That's actually pretty good.
It's as high shooting percentage as being in the league.
Yeah. What about 3-pointers?
50%.
Wow. Is he taking a lot of those?
Yes, actually, shockingly enough. He's
good. He's absolutely improved then. Absolutely improved. Credit to RJ Barrett.
I'll let you know how many threes he's attempted here. On the season, he's averaging 4.8 3-point attempts a game.
Okay.
So about almost 5 a game.
Yeah, good for him. Good for RJ Barrett.
I
remember at Duke.
5.7. I'm sorry, he's taking 5.7 3-point attempts a game. My mistake.
Still, you shoot 50%. That's good. Those
are
good numbers.
Yeah. 47%. He's playing well.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yep, absolutely. Nice comment here, Grumpy. Tony Cheese.
You guys watching the Field Goal Bowl? It's true.
Oh, gosh.
You're lying.
Drew says, TJ, I have the Islanders meme saved up for Wednesday.
Attaboy. We're looking forward to it. Freedom Fun Adventure.
Guys, I really appreciate Zizekas, but his freaking comment against fans is inexcusable. He doesn't seem to understand his players' performance on the ice and lose off. That makes fans chant for change. Okay. The players' performance on the ice has been absolutely miserable. I'm going to tell you why he said that. Because this is the comfortable environment that is the New York Islanders cul-de-sac crew. It just is. What do you mean you want to upset the apple cart? We got it great here. This freaking guy got 11 years worth of freaking contracts for a guy who plays on the fourth freaking line. Stop. Fourth line center. Cut him. That honestly, there needs to be. You cannot come out and rip the fans. I hope the fans boom out of the building. It'll be interesting to see what type of reception he has when the Islanders eventually go back home after they get probably swept in the next 4 road games.
I tell you this. Oh, go ahead. Go
ahead. What are you going to tell me?
I'm a loser. Next.
No, that's not what I'm going to tell you. I'm sure he does get booed. If the team doesn't come away and win the majority of these road games, at least 3 road games, I'm sure there's going to be some boo birds out when he comes out there on the ice, unless he falls
you know what I
on
think
the
people
sword
should
and
come out with?
apologizes.
People should come out with the fire Casey Zizekas then. Is what they should come out with. Screw it. We're changing our target towards you now. Now we want you gone.
Fire Casey. Fire Casey. Every time he touches the
That
ice.
son of a bitch could not even play, and we'd still want him fired.
Now, I do want to show you. Oh, good.
Okay, go ahead. Show it.
Oh, you got read the comment here. I'll put this up after.
Milo Brownie with a new picture says, Grump, I owe you a headband picture. Unfortunately, TJ was shamed into putting his away. Also, how many more weeks of the NFL do I need to live through? Oh, not too many more, Milo Brownie. Not too many more.
I'm about to say NFL season starting to come to the playoffs. Good play. You talk about the improvisation here by Sam Howell. I mean, he does make good plays here, right? I mean, he does show flashes. I think it has much more to do with Seattle than much more else.
Seattle's actually been pretty good defensively this year.
Actually, does a good job on the improvisation there. He goes ahead and hits a dump off, and he scores a touchdown. But it's like, it's a good job. Whoop.
He draws everybody to him with the scrambling ability, and that's what sets it up.
That's a good play. Absolutely, it's a good play. So, anyway, next comment there.
TJ and Son X, during your high school careers, were you tolerant and respectful of nerds, dorks, and geeks? Or did you treat them like the dirty dogs they were, like Biff treated George McFly before Marty fixed things?
TJ?
I didn't have any interactions like that. I just kind of did my thing and went home.
Yep. I kind of just treated everybody the same. Like pieces of shit. No, I'm just playing.
He treated everybody like the same piece of shit, huh? X?
No, I was respectful to everybody.
Freedom Fund Adventure.
Freedom Fund Adventure says, I bet Sam Arnold called Tommy DeVito to see if his mom has a room for rent.
Ooh.
God. I do want to show you this here. Derek Carr. Now, people were saying he did go out the concussion protocol with this hit. Some people were upset with this hit, but I'll let you watch it, and I want your opinion. Oof.
Oh, that's helmet to helmet for certain.
I think he made contact with the shoulder or the arm.
No, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It looks like he made contact. It does not. He hit his helmet.
He definitely hit his helmet.
Yeah,
but it's just like, yeah, dude. I do feel bad for Derek Carr, as much of a crier as he is. Here's the thing: that guy just cannot stay healthy because he's just getting absolutely battered and just destroyed out there on the field on a consistent basis.
He took a shot to complete that pass. He absolutely did.
Yeah, no question. The guy's got balls of steels out there. Balls of steel. Tony Cheese Grumpy.
Zach Wilson is always spending the night and eating all of Tommy DeVito's gushers.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Freeze warning.
Apparently, Carolina Panthers fans were planning to hold a protest in the streets of Charlotte today, but it got postponed.
Yep, they were. It was a protest in front of, I guess, Tepper or whatever, and saying that they want shit changed with the team.
What do they want changed with the team?
They need a new coach. They
drafted the wrong fucking quarterback.
They need a new owner.
They don't have enough. Their offensive line is abysmal. They have no weapons. Not one weapon. Adam Thielen couldn't catch 45 passes last year in Minnesota, of all places, and he's like the man in Carolina.
Did Adam Thielen get hurt last year? Right?
No.
I'm thinking he did. If he didn't catch 45 passes, are you sure he didn't get hurt?
No.
You just
They had
making that
somebody
up
called
right
He's
now?
33 years old. He's
They had
33 years old.
somebody called Justin Jefferson who was on that
Yeah.
team. who
I
caught
don't know
all
if
the
Grumpy's
passes.
making this shit up right now. Grumpy,
And now, guess what? It would have been even worse for him with them having Jordan Addison
okay,
as well.
hold on. How many catches did you say he had last season?
45.
68.
He had 70.
How many
He
yards?
couldn't even catch 45 passes last season. Please stop.
A lot of them were
Grumpy.
handoffs, shovel passes. It was on.
All righty. Let's continue on here.
Jet sweeps.
Onward.
But let's be honest. Adam Thielen's absolutely on the downside, right?
Sure.
That's fair to say. Well, like I said, but here he's he's got over 70 catches this year already, halfway through the season.
He does not.
How many does he have
Oh,
this
shit.
year?
I'll pull it back up for you, Grumpy, but I know he didn't already have that many. Receptions this season. Thielen, he's got 68.
Oh, okay, 70. He's got 70. You make it sound like I was off by 100. He has 70.
He said he's got 70 already. I knew he didn't have 70. That's all I'm going to say, Grump. What a film says here. The Islanders are dismantling right now. Clutterbuck and Cizikas both calling out the fans. Man, that's really bad. Clutter really didn't. We'll talk more about it Wednesday. Clutter really didn't go ahead and shit on the fans, but not a good look. Not a good look from Casey.
Not a good look.
Freedom Fun Adventure, Grump.
Tony Cheese, I think tonight might be a good night for SunX to get his first on-air employee review. What do you say, Grump and TJ?
Are you going to give a review, Grumpy, of SunX?
I think SunX does a great job.
I do too. I agree.
One word. That's all that's needed. It's legendary.
Wow, that's a good word.
I'm going to say sufficient.
I'm going to say bald.
Is that what you're saying about yourself, X?
You.
We're giving you reviews. That's
I already told you legendary.
Freedom. Wait, you pulled down the Freedom Fun Adventure. comment.
Way to go. As I said, remember we had this discussion earlier?
Yep.
And
He's
somebody
in
just
charge
can't
of the
control himself?
comments,
Somebody
TJ,
just
not
can't control
you.
himself? Thank
Oh.
you, TJ.
Grump and TJ, why don't players understand that they could just silence the fans' chance of firings if they perform on the ice? Guys on this team gotten plenty of dudes fired. They don't care. It's the same cast and crew that's been here, honestly, for the better part of a decade and a half. Think
Exactly.
about it.
When you've been there for so long and you've just collected a paycheck, you don't think that you have to perform anymore to collect your paycheck. You think
And
you can just roll out there and show up, and the
and
fans will be okay with it.
And there's no repercussions for just being bad or average. Just none. This
100%
team needs to be blown up, stripped down, get rid of all of them.
Let me ask you this real quick. What type of conversation did you have earlier about my comment interference, X and Grumpy?
We had this conversation
you.
earlier.
With
TJ,
you.
you were literally in the conversation.
I don't remember this. Okay.
Shocker. That's why you just
Yesterday,
acted up.
before yesterday's
Not
podcast.
shocked.
You not remember?
Not shocked.
I thought you
And
wanted
there he is again. He can't control himself. My
what a
God.
film here, Grumpy.
What a film says. That's a real shocker on Cizikas. Of all people to say that, that hurts the team, Casey, and the fans look up to you. Take your $5 million a year and shove it right up your keister. He doesn't make $5 million.
I hope people start burning his jerseys.
Ooh.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that because he didn't get any sales.
Let me tell you something. A bad road trip, watch out. Watch out.
Islander fans, I'll tell you one thing. They could definitely get a little ornery. They can get a little feisty. That's for certain.
They're unhappy with the product. The team is bad and boring. That's a toxic mix.
I can't wait for somebody to make termination letters and start throwing them on the ice. Get gone.
Are you talking about like paper airplanes?
Yep.
Oh.
Termination letters.
Drew L., grumpy old man.
This week was a fantastic week for the NFL. Besides a couple of games, the majority of the games were really close. It kept me pretty engaged, to say the least.
Yep. Except tonight's game is abysmal.
I want to show you. Oh, here you go. Freedom Fun Adventure, Grump.
Part of A&M's issues is that guys are going there mostly for NIL. That is a bunch of mercenaries, and they don't care. NAL is part of the recruiting, but if a guy's main reason is to commit, you might not want him. I don't know. I think that's
all the guys play.
I think that all guys are going to go where they get the most amount of money.
Yep.
All players. It's just like that with the NFL. If you could say, like most leagues, if whoever can pay them the most is going to usually win the player, and they play hard because they want to go ahead and create future earnings for themselves as well. So they don't have loyalty to the team, but I mean, they've got loyalty to the dollars that you're offering. So that's definitely certain. If anything were to happen with the donors or the fan base, or that were to take a hit and the money can't be there, well, you're going to see, a fall from grace. Now, I wanted you to listen to this, Grumpy and X, talking about Shohei Ohtani to come to the Mets. We'll listen.
Who's this jabroni? Who's this jabroni? John Hine.
John Hine. He does. He does. I'm trying to remember. He is executive producer on the Howard Stern channels on Sirius XM. But he's executive producer on the Howard Stern show, Grump.
My case for Shohei to come to the Mets. First of all, I know West Coast. He wants to be on the West Coast. Well, guess what? The baseball season is during the nice weather on the East Coast. So don't even worry about that, Shohei.
Echoing. It's echoing.
Can you tell me 5 or 6 more times if it's fucking echoing or not, Grump?
Hey, I'm waving at you first and you ignore me.
Do you remember we've had this conversation before? When I have another screen open, I cannot see what you're doing.
That's why I said echoing, because you didn't respond. Honestly, if it's echoing, it's not even worth playing.
Next. Here we go. Let's go some more comments. Okay,
we're not going to do that fucking bit. Good.
Here's the thing. I just read the thing. He said it's no better place to win New York. Yeah, not if you're playing for the Mets, because guess what? The Mets are going to be freaking abysmal.
You got a batting coach as your head coach now, so
a bench coach.
Oh, sorry.
He's never coached a position before in his life. Here's the thing. Shohei Ohtani is no way is he going to the Mets. Not happening. Freeze warning says, if you were the AD, who would you hire at A&M and why? Big name like LSU did with Brian Kelly?
You don't know who's going to be fired yet and who's going to be available. So you don't go ahead and jump to somebody else. You do want a big name, though. I would think I'd want a big name with the amount of dollars that are being thrown out there. You see recruiting classes. Texas A&M's had like a top 10 recruiting class each of the last 3 years, despite mediocre results. One really good year, and other than that, pretty mediocre results. If I'm their spot, time to go ahead and throw money.
8-4 is mediocre
for their standards. Absolutely.
Well, what's Texas A&M's record?
Apparently national champions. That's the only thing that you're going for.
8-4 the year after they had a losing record last year,
and they're over 500 this year.
I'm 6-4 this year. Holy fuck! It's mediocre. My God, what?
They're playing in the toughest conference in college football, the SEC.
They still are going to lose to LSU to end the season. They'll be 7 wins, 7-6.
8-4 is not mediocre in that conference.
Oh, they're not 8-4 right now. They're 6-4.
You just said the first year was okay, and the rest is mediocre.
The first year was good. They were 9-1 during that COVID year.
So you think Arkansas should just get rid of their coach?
They're talking about that too.
Or guess Auburn?
Shit. Auburn, he's inherited a mess. So we'll see what happens. He inherited a mess.
Texas A&M wasn't great when he got there.
What? You sure about that?
What was Texas A&M's record before he got there?
They were really good when they used to have guys like Johnny Manziel and everything.
How many years was Johnny Manziel there? You're talking about 2016.
Don't worry. I'll pull it up for you, Grump.
Johnny Manziel. Been gone forever.
That was when the players were allowed to use illegal drugs for the games.
Yeah.
All righty. So under Jimbo Fisher's first year, 9-4, 8-5, 9-1, 8-4, 5-7, 6-4. Some years good, some years really average. Look, okay, let's see what happened to the last coach Texas A&M had. Now here's the thing. What
about before he was there? That's what I want to see.
I just said, if you would have just listened. Let's look at what happened before Jimbo Fisher got there. Now, remember, they paid Jimbo Fisher a whole hell of a lot more. They were playing Sumlin. Simple as that.
That wasn't the question. I just want to know the record before.
2012, 11-2, 9-4, 8-5, 8-5, 8-5, 7-5. So
7-6.
never had a losing record, not a
7-6.
one season, not one season.
7-6.
7-6, and then he took the team to 9-4, 8-5, 9-1, 8-4.
X and Grumpy 7-5, and he got fired before the bowl game. 7-5 for Kevin Sumlin. He never had a losing record, not a once. Never lost more than 5 games.
Their team was
7-6 before he got
there. The team was 7-6. I don't care about individual coaches. The team was 7.
The next guy sucked just as bad.
Worse.
Okay.
Worse, actually.
Here's the
With
thing.
the same team.
Here's the thing. The coach who got fired before was mediocre as well. 8-5 is not good enough for Texas A&M standards.
But that's what their school record is year after year after year. It's not like you're looking at 9-4, 7-6, 11-2. That's an outlier. 9-4, 8-5, 8-5, 8-5, 7-6. They're all in that range every year, are they not?
9-1, 9-4, 8-5, 9-1. These are three good. I mean, like when you look at those 3 years, 9-4 is a good record. 8-5, you want to do better. 9-1's really damn good. 8-4,
that's good.
That's better than 8-5.
Maybe want to do a little better. 7-5, yikes, bad. 6-4, ugh.
Okay, and then if they go on, what you think they'll go 7-5 this year?
I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have a bowl game. Who do they get in the bowl game? Do they win that bowl game? I don't know. All I'm gonna say is this. You look at the last guy who was canned, had a better record year over year than Jimbo Fisher.
No, he didn't.
11-2, 9-4, 8-5, 8-5, 7-5.
9-1 is better than 9-4. 9-1 is better than 8-5.
X 9-4. He did not have a single season with a losing record. Jimbo did. Okay. Sumlin was. You look at it, for as much as they paid for Jimbo Fisher, they didn't get the results for as much as they paid for him.
Okay, you realize the results are dependent on how the players play on the field.
He's a great recruiter, and and their
Great
record.
recruiter, not a great coach.
He had one bad year. 5-7.
2 mediocre years and 1 bad year.
Again with the mediocre. 9-4 is not mediocre.
8-4 is.
By
Pitt
standards,
that's what, that guy, every year except for one, that guy was mediocre. Every single year except for one, that guy was mediocre at 8-5.
That's why
every year except for one. Every year except for one.
That's why he got canned.
But he was there 6
sick and
years.
tired of mediocrity.
After that, he was there 6 or 7 years after that. 8-4 is not mediocre. 67% winning percentage in the SEC is not mediocre.
When you look at the conference record
in Alabama or Georgia every freaking year.
Okay. When you pummel on teams like Abilene Christian on a conference, look at this shit. Look at this. Kevin Sumlin, 4-4 in conference. Look at this. The year they were 11-2, 6-2, 4-4, 3-5, 4-4, 4-4, 4-4 in conference. Let's take a look at Jimbo Fisher, 5-3 in conference, 4-4, 8-1. That's the best year he had. Was that 2020 season?
That's better than any year the other guy had.
4-4 in conference,
which is
average.
What that guy had every year. That was the other guy's best year.
4-3.
4-4 was his best. 4-4 was his best year. The previous coach.
No, 6-2 was his 6-2 was his best year.
Not as good as 8-1.
Okay. Here's the thing. Average, though. All of the in-conference records have been right in the middle of the road. 4-4, 4-4. Hey, we got 1 year we went 8-1. 1 year we went 2-6. 4-4 usually is where they lie. That's average. I don't give a shit if they're pummeling Division I AA schools.
Historically, they're a team that's like 8-4, 8-5. If you just look at those over 15 years, 8-4 and 8-5 is what they normally are. They have a couple of outliers, one bad year, and a couple of positive years, but usually that's what they are, 8-4 in that range.
Think about it. They play Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, Auburn every single year.
LSU was a dynamite team for a lot of years, and Alabama is every year. Those are two automatic losses.
Same with Auburn. Auburn's been good.
Here's the thing. The record in conference is average. year over year over year. Maybe they thought when they gave Jimbo Fisher that huge contract that they were expecting more than average for conference play.
That's possible.
That's why he got fired. If you're going to get paid that much, you've got to do more than average in conference. Sorry.
No one said that. No one was saying he shouldn't have got fired. No one said they shouldn't have got fired. I just don't understand where you don't see that. I mean, it's not like he was a bust there compared to everybody else.
I think Jimbo Fisher was a bust there for
I think them thinking that they were going to have an immediate impact through the NIL, and then that's what it seems like is after they didn't perform through the NIL this year, they're just canning him. I think for them to think that is ridiculous.
Name, image, and likeness has been there for more than 1 year.
It's been what, 2 years?
2 years?
2 years. This was the second year.
All I'm going to tell you is this. When you're bringing home top recruiting class after top recruiting class, and it's not – and because it's all the money that's being pumped into there and you're not winning games, that's a problem.
You think a program's going to turn over after 2 years?
Okay. Well, when you look at under Jimbo Fisher, again, look, you can go back to 2020, or you go back as far as you want under Jimbo Fisher. 2020, 6th best recruiting class in the nation. 2021, 9th best recruiting class in the nation.
Okay, look at the teams that have recruiting classes that are above them. I guarantee 3 of them are in their own conference.
Okay, we can look at that next. See all. Going down the rabbit hole here, but
there's a shock. That's a TJ thing, going down the damn rabbit hole. Prove point. That's wrong.
Bama,
they're in their conference. LSU, they're in their conference. Georgia's not in their division.
They don't play in that division. Conference. Okay, they don't play Georgia every season.
You don't. Yeah, okay, but they play them often enough.
Okay, so they have 2 teams that are above them. So that's 2 automatic losses that they're going to have every year. 2 in the conference.
Okay, and the 2021. Let's look at 2022. Wow, Texas A&M had the #1 overall recruiting class in the entire nation. How many teams were above them there?
You're expecting a team of freshmen to just be dominant when they come in.
2022.
This isn't college basketball.
This would be their second year with the team, right? The 2023 recruiting class is already playing.
Where are the other teams? Can we look at the other teams? Because I guarantee that Alabama's right there. Georgia's right there again.
We just said, right, even though the other team was 8th, because they were below, that means the other team should be losses, right? This is the #1 recruiting class in the nation. You're expecting results from that. Your donors are paying money from that. Your organization is paying money for that.
Alabama again ahead of them.
Sure, absolutely.
LSU again ahead of them.
Number 6.
Tennessee.
Texas A&M down 15.
So another year with two teams ahead of them. Another 2 losses.
Is Florida in there?
Florida's not in theirs. No.
Here's the thing. You're getting consistently around top 10.
Yeah, that's right. They're consistently having 2 in-conference losses in their division every single year due to recruiting classes. That is correct.
You'd like occasionally your team to go more than 4-4.
That is right. You are automatically having 2 losses.
It's a tougher conference in
just
college
like Penn State every year automatically is going to have 2 losses because they have to play Ohio State and Michigan, who have top recruiting classes every year.
Let's make that a long one. Let's talk about Penn State.
Jesus Christ.
No, we're not going to do that. We don't have time to talk about Penn State. Tony Cheese.
I just saw Salah smile for the first time in 2 games.
True.
It just feels like the Jets are going to lose, though, at the end.
Yep.
Drew says, I said this on the Twitter Spaces. The wheels are falling off, and when that happens with any team, shit hits the fan fast, and it continues down a bad spiral. The Islanders are on that track right now.
Yikes.
I agree. Drew said Saquon didn't get hurt. Your friend is wrong, X. Saquon just
thought he got hurt. I thought I was honestly, I thought I was going to have to put Grump on freaking suicide watch if Saquon got hurt.
Gungun says, in order to be a professional football player, do you have to have a few loose screws? I mean, isn't a serious painful injury just a matter of time? It's a very high attrition rate in football.
Every play is equivalent to a car crash.
That's right. Drew says, here's the thing. When the team who's losing is in a negative game script, the running backs almost never touch the ball. That's why Saquon only got 13 carries today. Saquon's just being a diva.
Agreed.
Oh,
preach, Drew, preach.
Oh, I missed a comment. Give me 1 second.
This is what happens when we yell extra on the comments about my supervision.
There it is. I found it.
What a film says the Orioles fell apart. The Islanders are abysmal, and I just don't care about the Cowboys anymore. Grumpy, give me an NFL team worth cheering for. Detroit Lions.
Yep. Up
They're a
with the
feel-good
Lions.
story. I'm rooting for them big time. Are they good enough to win a Super Bowl? Probably not. But am I rooting for them? Absolutely. They're a feel-good story.
Grump roots for them because he likes their logo.
I love their logo. I've always loved their logo. I love
Grumpy
their color
also-
scheme. Just love it.
Grumpy also loves himself some Dan Campbell, just like me. I love myself some Dan Campbell, Grump.
I don't think Dan Campbell's a great coach, but I'm absolutely rooting for the Lions and him.
He motivates the team, though.
Yep. Drew
I love
says,
that.
plus, as much as I like Saquon, he's nowhere near the same running back as last year. He lost that burst and explosiveness he once had. He's 1 year removed from being Ezekiel Elliott 2.0. That's not true. Their offensive line is absolutely horrid.
Put Saquon Barkley on the 49ers.
He'd be
Put
just
Saquon Barkley on Miami.
Would he be just as good as Christian McCaffrey? No.
No.
But I'll tell you what, he'd be just as good as Raheem Mostert is for Miami, without a doubt.
I think he'd be better than Mostert.
Well, so do I. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He's real good at that. Joseph C says the Jets are just allergic to scoring touchdowns. I can't remember the last time they scored one, honestly. It's
Offensively,
pathetic.
they've struggled.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when is their bye week? Has their bye week already come up?
Yes.
Okay.
JP says, I'm starting to think Ken Holland's days are way past him. Firing Woodcroft to save his own skin is not a good look. But, well, coaches are always the first ones to go.
Yep.
JP also adds, if you watch Edmonton, yes, their defensive structure has been poor, but their goaltending has been nightmarishly atrocious.
Mm.
We're going to find out come Monday night. Freeze warning says, take out rankings. Who is each of y'all's 4 best college football teams right now not deserving based off purely eye test? I'm going with Georgia, Michigan, Bama, Oregon. Go ahead.
You want me to give you an answer first?
You go first.
Yeah.
I think it should definitely be Georgia. It's Oregon. It's Texas. And it's Ohio State.
I have Georgia.
Michigan, I'm sorry. I think Michigan, the way they played even without Jay Harbaugh on the sidelines, I give it to Michigan over Ohio State.
I have Georgia, Michigan, not in any specific order. Georgia, Michigan, Washington is in there. They're undefeated, and they beat Oregon. And then I'd probably have to say, as of right now, Florida State, since they're undefeated. But if Florida State loses, or honestly, I put Ohio State over them. I know that that's not going to happen because either Ohio State or Michigan is going to win or lose, and one of them will get knocked out. But I think Ohio State or Michigan is better than Florida State. So
Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, and Washington.
Yep, that's what I have.
No love for Oregon, huh, Grump?
They have a loss.
And they lost to Washington.
Washington.
Here's
They
the
lost to Washington. I think Oregon's a really good team too.
But they
How did
still
they play-
lost to Washington.
Do you remember I told you that they were going to bitch slap USC this weekend? Remember that?
They beat them.
That defense was going to go ahead and control Caleb Williams. Kind of looked like that out there in the field,
It's
didn't
not. It's.
I think Caleb Williams has quit. I don't think he even cares.
Yeah, I think he can't wait to go.
I literally don't think he cares. I think once that team lost 2 games, that was it.
Once he started crying on the
That
sidelines,
team didn't give a
mom-
shit. That team didn't give a shit anymore. They don't care.
Once he started crying on the sidelines with his mama, things changed.
What if Film says, did you ever figure out what the hell Belichick was doing running around half naked? No.
No, we did not.
Man of the night. All right.
Oh, no.
Joseph C
Yes,
says,
yes.
it might not have been a good idea to give Darnell frickin' Nurse. You got that right. $9.5 million a year. If Darnell Nurse is worth $9.5 million, no adoption's worth 15. Freeze warning says Texas peaked week 2, and them and FSU have too many struggle wins for me. I'm going to say if Texas keeps winning and winds up winning the Big 12,
They'll make it in.
Big 12, they
Yep,
will
Big 12.
make it in because one of Michigan and they're 5th right now. One of Michigan and Ohio State is going to drop out after they play each other. It's going to definitely happen. Florida State,
They suck.
I'm praying that they lose because they are the least worthy top 15
Absolutely.
in this.
It's going to be like TCU 2.0. I don't give a shit that TCU beat Michigan last year.
Because they
TCU,
knew that they were doing the sign stealing. That's why they beat them last year.
they
I know this is like the third time I've said it on here, but
Yeah.
that's the reason why.
yeah.
For
Michigan-
other listeners who haven't tuned in before,
Michigan, their defense is outstanding.
that's why I think they're winning the whole thing. I think they're the best team in the country. What I saw, I think it was through the first 4 or 5 weeks, they'd only given up 30 total points. I was like, this team's going to be hard to beat.
I'm really interested. I mean, I'm going to be excited to watch that Ohio State Michigan.
They haven't given up a touchdown in the red zone all season.
And they haven't given. I don't think they've given up a touchdown
In the third quarter.
I don't think they've
Yeah.
given up any points in the third quarter.
Yep.
They're good.
They're
defensively.
freaking good. They're
They are.
freaking good.
Rodgers is targeting a mid-December return. Build that hype, New York fans.
Oh, wow. He was walking in. He was walking into the stadium today, man. Rodgers is ready, Grump. He'll be ready. Drew L says here, today's offenses are based off of running back committees, with one guy as the power back and the other guys are the speedy receiving backs. Today's game is different. Teams stray away from the workhorse back.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Derrick Henry is like the last of the workhorse backs.
True.
It's a shame.
Freedom Fundamental says, with Michigan busted for cheating, should they be allowed to compete in the playoffs? Absolutely. Every team does it. They just got caught. Every team does it. Every team does it.
I have a question about that previous comment. About the Derrick Henry thing. Do you think that there's less workhorse backs because of the way college football is played now, where everything is aired out, score a bajillion points?
I think that's the way college football is leaning with their running backs.
And do you think that's affecting the NFL
Sure.
style of play as well?
That's why. Why do you think everyone plays scramble offense in the NFL?
Because that's the way the quarterbacks play in
That's
college.
right. It's easier to just get an athlete than to develop a quarterback to play in the pocket and stuff like that. It's just easier.
Yep.
Johnny Mack says, Grump. Johnny Mack.
Johnny Mack.
Drew says, as a fantasy football player, I hate this new approach, but coaches nurse their players nowadays. It's new school football. It's ridiculous. The touch fouls that they call personal fouls, just ridiculous. Who says the Jets are allergic to scoring in the red zone? Would an enema for the entire team help things? No, I don't think so.
No.
Joseph C says, come on, TJ. They're stacking the box against the Giants because they know they can't pass the ball. That's it in a nutshell. 8, 9 in a box. Freeze Warning says, was the NCAA Big Ten decision with Harbaugh fair with him missing coaching the rest of the regular season on the sidelines or in person? Should have been hit with financial penalties that includes recruiting. It was a rush to judgment again. Again, a rush to judgment. I'm not saying he's guilty or not guilty. We don't know yet. Rush to judgment by suspending him. And they're like, well, yeah, I mean, they did it because, well, you know, they wanted to get a penalty out there. Why are you rushing to judgment? Didn't need to.
I think they're wanting to rush to judgment to make it seem like, oh, this is why they should still be, because he's able to come back. It's not the entire regular season. I think it's until the last game.
He's going to miss. No, he's going to miss the rest of the regular season.
He's going to miss the Ohio State game.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought it worked around where as soon he was able to come back starting the Ohio State game.
That's a big loss.
Hell yeah, it is. Wow, big loss is right. Yeah, rush to judgment. Freeze Horny said, did Belichick miss any games with Spygate, which is similar to the Michigan situation, or was it just a $500,000 fine and missing out on a 2008 first-round draft pick?
He did not miss any games. No suspension for him.
Yep, absolutely here. Drew L.
So, TJ, by your logic of running backs, Josh Jacobs shouldn't have been a first-round pick, as well as Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Etienne, CMC, Zeke, Melvin Gordon, and many more. Not all those picks are hitting.
My thought process is
the first round should only be for offensive linemen, right, TJ?
If you're drafting a running back in the first round with a top 5 or top 10 pick, those guys better be elite. That's simple. If you're going to piss away a top 10 pick on a running back who already has a short lifespan, those guys have a short lifespan. They better be elite for 7 or 8 years. You can go all you want.
That's not. So you're going to, a guy who's obviously a better player, you're not going to draft him because he might not last 8 years.
He wasn't the better player in the draft. You look at back on that, he's
Who was
not.
who was
in the draft.
I'll
I'll pull up the fucking draft for you. My
it up.
God.
Yeah, there
Pull
we
it
go.
Worry.
Pull it up.
Don't
Pull it
worry.
up.
Keep reading comments. I'll pull it up. Don't worry.
Pull it
Grump.
up.
I'll pull it up, Grump.
Johnny
Pull it
Mac
up.
says, Grumpy
Damn it.
big win over Pig Suey yesterday with a bowl game now. Win 2 or 3 and 8 wins. And SEC Network says, "Hello, Jimbo, you suck, Fisher."
All right.
Freedom Fun Adventure says Will Gear can sling it around. He went to school down here, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
My neck of the woods. Drew says, "Well, Grumpy, you said Drake London couldn't create any separating college." I never said that about Drake London. I said N'Keal Harry. And today you said he's a good weapon in Atlanta. Hypocrisy. I never said that about Drake London. N'Keal Harry, not Drake London.
Fake Nation. Saquon Barkley, second overall pick.
Saquon, you admit who's better, TJ? Saquon or Barkley?
Saquon's better than Barkley.
Okay. Sam Darnold.
Barkley's better than Sam Darnold.
Okay. So your quarterbacks are busting out right at the top of the draft.
They're not.
Denzel Ward.
They're not busting out because I want you to look at number 7 on that fucking list, Grumpy,
Okay.
and tell
How
me if
many
that
years-
guy is an okay quarterback. Josh Allen's an okay quarterback.
Everyone knows that I was the guy who promoted Josh Allen before anyone. But how
Okay.
many years did it take for Josh
I
Allen
like
to be good?
McGlinchey
Great.
too, buddy. I like McGlinchey too. McGlinchey, yes.
Yeah. No. Is he
Okay,
still
hold
in
on.
the league
Scroll
or is he
up.
out of the league already?
Blowing through guys. You're blowing through guys.
Are you even looking at anyone?
Here's another one. Just look at the quarterbacks that were drafted. You've had successful players
Didn't
You
you
drafted.
had
have
three
Daniel
busts.
Jones?
You had 3 busts in the top 10.
Nick Chubb Nick Chubb is a better running back than Saquon Barkley. Prove me wrong. Nick Chubb's a better running back than Saquon Barkley. Second round pick. Prove me wrong.
Again, they have a better team.
Prove me wrong.
Why did Nick
They have a better
Chubb slide?
team.
Do you remember why Nick Chubb slid?
He had the injury.
That's right, 2 knee injuries in college. That's why he slid.
Prove me wrong.
Is
I
he
just
doing better
did.
than
running back?
Is he doing better than Barkley this season?
Yes. He's the better running back.
He's been out
He's
all
looking
year.
out. TJ,
He's better on one fucking leg than Barkley is on 2 healthy legs. Okay, this is my point. This is why you never draft running backs early. You can find guys who will be successful at that spot later on in the draft.
Nick Chubb might not even come back to play.
We don't know if he will or won't. He's had a more successful season. He's had a more successful year
We're
than Barkley.
talking about first round. You're in what, the 3rd round now?
I'm just looking over draft picks.
Why don't you just
He's trying
really-
to nitpick? Let's see all
Okay.
the guys that they fucking went with who were shittier than Barkley that were
You
drafted.
say Mayfield's a bust. How many? 3 of the top 3 quarterbacks in the top 10 busted out. Josh Allen's the only one, and he wildly exceeded expectations without doubt. Quilton
Sure.
Nelson was good.
Sure.
Other
Quentin
than that,
Nelson.
McGlinchey was okay. He's
Roquan
serviceable
Smith
tackle.
is pretty good.
He's
McGlinchey's
okay.
pretty good.
He's not Saquon Barkley.
No.
He's not Saquon Barkley. Roquan Smith. He's absolutely
Josh Rosen, he's pretty good, right?
out of league.
No,
Isn't
he's
he?
not.
Yeah, he is.
Denzel
out of
Ward,
it.
league.
Denzel Ward was okay at safety. Minka Fitzpatrick was pretty good. Vita Vea was okay. Darren Payne, I think he's pretty good for Washington. Marcus Davenport is a bust. It's a
Keep going, keep
crapshoot.
scrolling. Keep
You
scrolling.
pick, Colton Miller, bust. Tremaine Edwards, bust. Derwin
Tremaine
James,
Edmonds is not a bust.
he
Jesus
absolutely is. He
Christ.
absolutely is. He's with
You're
Chicago.
wrong.
Buffalo didn't want him back. He's a bust. Derwin James is good. Jar Alexander is okay. Leighton Vander Esch is okay. Frank Ragnow is okay for center. Billy Price, bust.
Leighton Vander Esch is more than okay.
No, he's not.
He's
no, he's
decent.
not.
Oh my god.
No, he's not. He's an average
Trumpy's a
linebacker.
big Isaiah Wynn fan. You're a huge
Isaiah Wade, bust. DJ Moore, okay. Hayden Hurst, Calvin Ridley, Rashad Penny, always hurt. Terrell Edmonds, bust. Taven Bryant, bust. Mike Hughes, bust. Sony Michelle, bust. Lamar Jackson, good quarterback. Yeah, it's a crapshoot.
Here's the thing. All these quarterbacks,
So
you've had,
judging by you had 2 good players in the entire first round.
you've had good players in the draft.
How many
Grump, here's the
linemen of that top 32 busted out? A lot.
No,
McClinchy-
McClinchy
McClinchy-
absolutely panned out.
McClinchy he's serviceable starter.
It's sort of
Quentin Nelson,
Nelson.
Quentin Nelson, serviceable starter. Keep
Yes.
going.
Guess what? Your top 10 offensive linemen, guess what? They're good. They're
You know what they
good,
don't
Mom.
do? You know what they don't do? They don't win you games.
Oh, that's bullshit. Stop.
They don't win you games.
Really? Do the offensive linemen run the ball in?
Yeah, they do
Do they
a
score
great job.
touchdowns for you?
He's a machine, McGlinchey. Absolute machine, grumpy old man. X. Absolute machine. Colton Miller, I can't tell you I'm too familiar with him. I think he probably blows.
Bust.
Sure, maybe. Sure.
No, definitely. Frank Ragnow, Is he even? I don't know. Is he still playing for Detroit? Billy Price, bust.
Oh, Billy
Isaiah
Price
Wynn,
isn't even playing in
bust.
the league anymore.
Look at how many linemen bust out.
Oh, Grumples.
All right, move on to something else. You've been proving
Saquon
wrong.
Barkley's nowhere near as bad as the majority of those players.
That's right.
Nowhere near as bad.
He's
as
well.
He was a
way
second
too.
overall pick, and he
The
should.
only guy I could say the only guy who is absolutely better than he is Josh Allen. Absolutely better.
And wouldn't it have
Josh
been
Allen-
crazy? It's almost like the Giants needed a quarterback that year too.
Didn't they have Daniel Jones?
No, we drafted him the year after.
I think you still had Eli, right? You still have Eli.
Still had Eli.
Okay, so you still had Eli Manning. So they
Josh
weren't going
Allen-
to quarterback.
Josh Allen was not a slam dunk either. It
He
was
played for
3 years
Wyoming.
before-
Wyoming didn't really do shit that year.
It was 3 years before he finally broke out. I mean, and like I said, he needed a lot of work coming from Wyoming. Had all the tools, but he needed a lot of work coming from
Big
that
kid with a
offense.
strong arm.
Yep,
That was
Cannon.
literally it.
Cannon.
Now, I'll show you this. I feel like you'll get a kick out of it. Connor Bernard.
Can we read this real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Franco got into trouble for sleeping with students from an acting school. He co-ed. Yes, so what? Are they
So
over
that's why
18?
he,
I mean, unless they're underage, who gives a shit?
Hold on, is that what it was? He was sleeping with kids from a acting school that he owned?
Okay, are they kids or are they just adult women? Professionals do that shit all the time.
Yeah, is acting school like, hey, these are college kids, like college
what I'm
age
thinking.
kids going to acting school?
Yeah,
like,
I
when
think
he's-
he was like a college professor.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
Wander
Consult.
Franco's 22 years old or 23 years old, right?
No, not Wander
this is
Franco.
James Franco.
James Franco.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh my
I'm thinking
God.
that's what I'm thinking we're talking
Hold on.
sports here.
Wander Franco is giving out acting classes.
A co-owner of an acting school. I'm like, okay, I guess that's what he likes to do with his free time. Okay,
Got plenty of that
James
now.
Franco. Gotcha. Shit. Okay, gotcha. Dan. Okay. I thought we were finally figuring out what happened to Wander Franco. Look at this little transpire. Look what transpires here, Grump.
All right, keep an eye on Connor Bedard.
I'll go ahead and turn the volume off because Grumpy, I don't want to hear him say echo 10 times. Look at little Connor Bedard here.
Racing down there.
Oh, welcome to the league, Bucko.
Smoked along the boards there.
Kachuk, yeah, welcome to the league, baby. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, Connor Bedard, he's so this, he's so that. Here's the thing, right? Look at him afterwards.
Oh,
They're not, I'll tell you one thing, they're not going to let you. Yeah, two guys team up on his ass. Look at this shit.
That's what you get. Don't hit the star player.
Towards
Fuck.
the stars.
You know what? Start hammering this fucking kid. Hammer this kid.
Yeah, then it'll just become a bloodbath.
Boom. Welcome to the league, Bucko.
Nothing wrong with bloodbaths, man. That's when the NHL was great. I used to
Here's the
love
thing.
that.
It's a clean hit. This is a clean hit.
Yeah.
Don't be such
I'm
a
not arguing that it's
waste.
not.
It's a clean hit.
I
Absolutely.
think it's more so the shit afterwards is what got him pissed.
It would have been better if he hadn't have turned away like that. That's
Exactly. He got terrified of getting hit, so he tried to turn out of it. He's like, let me go after the puck. And he's like, hello. Boop. Oh. And they went, I mean, they tried to, and that was Kulikov who threw the hit on him, and they try to go ahead and start this bloodbath. Dude, I do like that Kachuk goes there and starts starting shit.
Believe me, you're not seeing Bedard drop the gloves.
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
You'd be shocked how many people on Twitter and social media are like, you have a grown man assaulting a child out here. I'm like, shut the fuck
They
up.
both get paid to play the same exact sport. Tough shit. That's the fucking rules.
Bedard's 18
Don't
years
like
old.
it,
He's
quit.
an adult, my guy. Come on.
Yeah.
Welcome to the league, Bucko. Welcome to the league.
I have no problem with the hit, but I agree with the Blackhawks sticking up for their star player. I don't blame him.
Nothing
That's
wrong
what
with
you're
that.
supposed to. You're supposed to protect your stars.
I need Kachuk to drop the gloves and pummel that kid.
He ain't
He's-
fighting.
Dude,
Stop.
I'll tell you one thing. Have you looked at Bedard's numbers, by the way, so far this year?
No, they're pretty good, right?
Unreal.
Yeah, he's good.
Devontae
Red
Adams
Wings is coming here.
Drew says, good job, TJ. You found the one instance where Sam Howell had a clean pocket. There's a reason Howell is the most sacked quarterback in the entire NFL and is going to shatter that record. He leads the NFL in yards. And in every situation, it doesn't matter. He's very good. JP says, just to cement my thoughts about the Edmonton debacle, Paul Coffey, great player, probably a good administrator.
JP said, oh, okay. JP says here, never has coached a day in his life, as far as I know. Hired to replace Dave Manson as a defensive coach. Jesus Christmas. Jiminy Christmas.
Wow. That's like hiring me to coach a sensitivity class. Goon says, Grumpy, don't be so sure the Jets beat the Pats the last game. They absolutely will. I can smell a repeat of how the Jets 2015 season ended in stink. The Jets will beat the Patriots. And if Rodgers is back, it'd probably be blowout. Goon says, what genius will the Pats choose Jones over the people's champion? Which genius with the Pats chose Jones over the people's champion? Well, no. Before Jones got there, it was Cam Newton. Belichick did not want Tom. He wanted to lowball Tom Brady, offer him a $14 million contract. If all Brady wanted was the Drew Brees deal, 2 years, $25 million per. And Belichick said no.
Grump, the Patriots just exchanged one Hall of Famer for another. That's all.
And Belichick thought he could win with any quarterback. It's been acknowledged that in the past he said we could win with any of the top 15 quarterbacks in the league. Yep. How's that worked out for you?
He had Cam Newton, the Hall of Fame quarterback back there.
Cam Newton. No, not too well for him. That's for certain, grumpy old man. Andrew
L says, Rodgers said on Sunday Night Football his plan and goal is to return in mid-December. It's all over Twitter. Already touched on it. Drew said, Grumpy, just let the argument go. TJ's a moron. He hates Sam Howell just because he had one bad game against Buffalo when Buffalo's entire defense was healthy. If he excludes that one game.
Oh, fuck. I'm not excluding games.
JP says, TJ, Grumpy's right about how y'all are interpreting Howell's stats. Howell's stats are almost uniform. The Skins are mediocre like the Islanders, LOL. They are. In every situation, his numbers are almost identical, except he throws more interceptions when they're down. Absolutely. That's the one negative. 6-2 tied or behind, 8-7 one behind, tied or winning, 8-7 when they're behind. Drew says Howell's total INTs are cut in half. He's good. Never said he was great. And yes, he's way better than Kenny Pickett, TJ. Now you're 0-2 on quarterbacks. Time to retire the guru numbers.
No, absolutely not. Never wrong on QBs. Never, not a once.
You're already wrong today. Twice.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Nick D says, I hope the fans don't go. I hope so too. Don't show up. Oh man, that'd be great. You want to send a message? Don't go to the games. Have the whole fan base not go. Have an empty stadium for a game. Yikes.
That's the best way to send a message.
Yes.
Hit them where it hurts. Their wallets. Am I wrong? Then they'll start realizing, oh shit, we need to change some. We're not making any money. Nobody's going to see us play.
That's a good way that's a good way to cause chaos. Absolutely, It is.
Hit them where it hurts most.
Nick D says, Grumpy, TJ Sunex, how you guys doing tonight? Fire Lou Lamorello.
What's up, Nick D? Doing well, man. Doing well. Drew L has got our next comment here. He says, I think UNC is going to restore their reputation as a quality school for quarterbacks. I think Drake May is going to be a stud.
Absolutely. Drake May is going to be a stud. He should be the number one pick overall, without a doubt.
He definitely looks like the guy.
All the freaking tools. Absolutely does.
Yep.
Drew says, I just found it crazy when all of a sudden Jameis Winston came in thanks to Derek Carr. The Saints offense started to roll until the end of the game. Carr sucks, blows, and swallows.
Oh, that's a grumpy phrase. Right. Grumpism.
That is a grumpism.
Nick Azzato says, what's your thoughts on Trey McBride? Looking pretty good considering he's on Arizona. He was projected to be a pretty good tight end coming out of college. It's all utilization, right?
He was one of the top tight ends in that draft.
Are you being utilized correctly? That's what it's all about.
Like, I think you'd see if Kyle Pitts was traded off of Arizona, you'd see how good of a player he is.
Yeah, to a team with a quarterback. Oh, my God.
I assume something not good happened there for Grumpy to go, oh, my God. Did they just
now Grump's ahead of me, so now he's got me watching.
Drew said,
Panthers pick. Grump, tell him what happened first.
I'm watching. Hold on.
Panthers need to trade Brian Burns and J.C. Horn in order to salvage trading for Bryce Young and gutting all their assets.
What happened?
Zach Wilson got engulfed from behind.
Fat boy lets the guy get around him. Of course, he brutalizes Sam Wilson.
He saw a Big Mac on the ground
and he fell on the ball and took all the air out of it. I mean, every bit. He jumped on that ball like it was a double. Like
that's right. It is Becton. That's Becton's guy.
That's absolutely.
I'm having to rely upon you, but I'm not sure I believe.
Did you see him flailing around his McDonald's receipt out there? That's
like,
just him.
And he jumped on that thing like it was a bag full of Big Macs. Again, what do you think about this? The Panthers having to trade Burns or Horn early.
They got to trade away players to try and get picks or other players because they need to change the team up.
If they can't sign Brian Burns to a long-term extension, they need to get rid of him.
Yes, agreed. They need to get exactly what he said. They need to gut for more assets for Bryce Young. They need to up the offensive line. They need to get more weapons at wide receiver. Like, I mean, you saw the report that you sent, and I saw that as well before you even sent it, that they were trying to acquire T. Higgins and Devontae Adams before the trade deadline, and were unsuccessful. I mean, those would have been guys who absolutely immediately would have helped Bryce Young. Yes. Immediately would have.
Yes.
But nobody wants to play for Carolina because they suck. So it is what it is.
Kai Becton, I'm looking. He's not at night tonight. I'm looking at there's definitely some low lights on the film right now from Kai Becton. He's looking sloppy.
Zekas is just trying to not get healthy scratched, just trying to get on Lambert's good side. Yeah, I don't think Casey's been that great. He's been okay. The Mets are a bad team. Cougar says, why was Engvall a healthy scratch, but not a geezer like Mayfield, who has committed countless boneheaded game-altering penalties? They have no defenseman. That's why he's not been benched. And Engvall sucks. He sucks. He's a piece of shit dust that they gave a 7-year contract extension to. I can't think of a worse investment, honestly.
Enron.
Keep moving along.
No, Engvall is worse. Engvall is worse than Enron.
Keep moving along here. Drew L.
Also wanted to remind TJ and X about the memes. I even sent X something special.
TJ memes.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
X wants to see his special message.
I'll pull him up here. God.
LOL, Grumpy. Colton Miller is a bust. Bust. Freeze Warning says Harbaugh filed a temporary restraining order against the Big Ten. Believe his court case is being heard sometime this week, and if successful, he would coach on the sidelines for the last 2 regular season games. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any evidence. Now, here's the thing. Did Harbaugh know? Absolutely he knew. Absolutely he knew.
This is his last season with Michigan.
I think so, too. But can you prove it? Can you prove it?
Why do you think it's last year with Michigan?
I think he's
just filed a restraining order with the Big Ten.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean much.
It's going to end ugly, and he's going to end up not being the coach for Michigan.
I think he's going back to the NFL after this year.
Really?
Joseph C. says their weapons are big time overrated, especially with that human drop zone, Alan Lazard. Talking about the Jets. Jets, Jets.
These memes that Drew sent us here, Grumpy.
Okay, one more thing. The Jets have, Joe C. also adds on, the Jets have no receiving talent outside of Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
Here you go. Looking here, the 6th highest paid running backs in free agency this past offseason in their yards per carry so far this year. Dalvin Cook, 2.8 yards per carry. Miles Sanders, 3.3. David Montgomery, 4.1. Jamal Adams, 3.1 or 3.0. Sam J.P. Ryan, 3.8. And Alexander Mattson, 3.6.
Okay. Let me just touch on
Why do you guys both call him Sam J? It's Samaj J.P. Ryan.
Okay. Dalvin Cook.
Grumpy calls him Sam J, damn it.
God.
I do not call him Sam J. When I get to him, you'll see what I call him. Dalvin Cook finished. Miles Sanders went from Philadelphia in that offensive line to Carolina. There you go.
With no offensive line.
And he's been hurt most of the year. David Montgomery was outstanding. He got hurt. 4.1 is not bad. He's a battering ram inside. He doesn't catch passes. Jamal Williams, he had a big year filling the Montgomery role last year with Detroit. Now he's with New Orleans. Sorry.
He's been hurt.
Sammy P. Ryan.
Sammy P. Ryan.
Sammy P. Ryan done. Alexander Mattison took over for Dalvin Cook. He was much better as a backup as opposed to a starter. The Jets are going to lose this game. What a shitty tackle by a tackle attempt by Sauce Gardner. He fumbled. Sauce Gardner, I don't know what the hell he did. Watch it, X. You got to watch this. Watch this unbelievably lame freaking tackle attempt. I almost feel like getting up from here, videotaping it, and putting that.
Oh
shit
my
on
God.
I don't know. Did he not have any arms? What happened to cheerleaders who had boobs? What the hell are we stuck with now?
Grumpy, control yourself, you fucking maniac. Now we got another comment here. The Colts returning to America after getting Bill Belichick fired.
We have caught.
Oh shit! No! Damn it, Drew! Damn it, Drew! You cannot send us anything for the WWE. That gets our post taken down immediately. I almost fell for it. Drew almost got me that time. The Patriots benching Mac Jones for Bailey Zappi. Oh my God! Holy shit! Look at this, Grump. Oh! Oh man, I'd be afraid of some shit combusting. Oh,
that's
this is more WWE. We can't do the WWE. Drew, oh shit! By the by, let's talk about that. The Ravens lost today. How the hell did the Ravens lose to the Browns?
Hard to believe.
Honestly, Lamar Jackson has really not done shit the last couple of weeks.
He's not a good quarterback.
You just said he was better than Saquon Barkley.
He's better than Barkley.
No,
yes, absolutely. When it proves my point, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the world. But he's pretty shitty though. At the
your
same
skin
time.
is leaking into your brain on the top of your head.
Oh damn!
Let's look here. He's got himself a little Lamar Jackson auto jersey. Let's see what's happening in the wee hoopin' land. Grumpy, you probably heard this from your house. This I fucking hate this kid.
Falcons, what happened? How did you lose the Browns? Like I said,
This kid, it's hard for me to watch. I get goosebumps all over.
Oh man, that's some of his insulation right there gone.
Hold on, what did he do? I looked away because I couldn't even bear to watch this.
Threw a projector or something. He threw something.
Oh, it's a trash can. He threw a trash can. Oh man, what do you think his parents do at Grumpy? What do you think his parents?
I think they have insulated floors and roofs so they can't hear him.
Oh, is that what you think it is?
I think you know what I think they do. I think they regret having a child.
I wonder if he gotta have brothers and sisters, or you think he's an only child, Grumpy? Did they stop after
If
one?
you had something like that, would you try again? I would. I mean, it must have been. I mean, they must have had some really like.
I actually heard they got the Nobel Peace Prize for not trying again the year after.
I think they were like some shallow
They
end of
did
the
the world a
gene.
favor.
They some shallow end of the gene pool shit to come out with that fucking piece of shit.
Drew L. Grumpy.
I swear, Brees Hall doesn't look the same at all. It's like when he runs, he's already tired. Their offensive line sucks. There's no holes. It just running backs need holes. They need something. Some weeks he looks good. Some weeks he looks bad. It's the offensive line's terrible. Drew says, and CMC's TD streak ended today. No big loss.
Yep.
Drew says, I swear the Jets had the opportunity to put the nail in the coffin by going up 15-3.5, but then CJ Uzuma had 2 holding penalties to drive back Zach Wilson 20 yards. Cut Uzuma and Joe Douglas. Or cut Uzuma or Joe Douglas. The Jets going to lose today. They're going to lose today.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely. Raiders getting ready to go up here with just to start the fourth quarter. Their defense is good. Maybe they'll hold them to a field goal attempt. They're inside the 10. I don't know. Drew says, Grumpy, I remember you saying about Drake London's lack of ability to create stuff. We already talked about that, Drew. I did not say that about Drake London. I said about N'Keal Harry.
You said during the NFL draft, you said.
I you know what? No.
We did the live draft show.
Yes, you did. That's okay.
No, I didn't. Absolutely.
Alrighty. Next comment. Joseph.
He says, Alex Lafreniere finally living up to that number 1 pick status. Another 2 goals tonight. Well, Phil said they should have cut him. He shouldn't even play because that's what you do with 21-year-olds. Instead of moving them up and putting them in scoring positions when they're actual scores, you either put them on the bench or put them on the 4th line like the Islanders do. Joseph C. says, by the way, F the Columbus for playing like shit against everyone except basically the Rangers. And the Raiders just scored a touchdown.
Well, that's it because we know Jets can't score a touchdown. So
can't. They can need 3 more field goals. I don't think I have enough time. Nick Cazzato says, are you kidding? The Islanders are getting all that money from Moderna?
I guess that's where they're getting their money from.
Drew says, well, if we're talking about hitting it where it hurts, the Islanders have the 4th worst attendance in the entire NHL.
Here's the one caveat when we broke it down on Wednesday. The outdoor stadium series, we're going to be the home team. So technically, they only look at our possible capacity, which is like the 18,000. But how large of a venue is MetLife Stadium?
Pretty big.
Like 70,000 or something?
Let's say they even get 40,000. It's still a lot.
It's like you selling essentially out 3 games when you only have 1 game. So it's like you're jamming that in. It's going to make your numbers at the end of the year look like your attendance is better than it actually
Are
is.
we sure they're not giving out free tickets as tax write-offs?
Yes. And you, Al Grumpy.
Rogers looks unhappy with Hackett's play calls. There is a funny clip on Twitter caught on the broadcast by accident.
I'll pull it up here.
Drew says Lou just paid a bunch of actors to come to UBS before the West Coast trip.
So they all started boom.
Nick says every inch of the ice says Moderna, basically, the scoreboard. I'm sure they're getting millions upon millions from Moderna and couldn't give a shit if 20% of the fans stopped going. Yeah, it's a bad look, though. It's a bad look, and believe me, ownership, they know.
Guess who's going to care at the end of the day? There's people, the Moderna, who's paying for those that ad space that's not getting eyes on it.
Drew says,
let's take a look real quick.
Oh my God.
Okay, here we go. Now you want me to show? Motherfucker.
But
so this is what we got here. Hackett dialing out the play call. Here's Aaron Rodgers. Just shaking his head. I don't know. It seems like we're overblowing that a tiny bit.
We don't know what he's shaking his head about.
Well, they got the headset on. I assume they're listening to what the play call is, but I don't know. Maybe we're overblowing that a little bit.
The Jets have given up the last 13 points.
Ugh.
Let's go Jets.
Yeah, so this was a complete miss here by Mekhi Becton. This guy, the fucking linebacker, you're doubling to the backer. He turns his shoulders, he starts pushing, and allows the mic just to run through and fucking tattoo him, and he's looking like caught in no man's land. Like, I was like, God damn. I was watching this, and I'm like, Becton, you got to do better than that, man.
He's not capable. You know what? Put a double cheeseburger on that back of the guy's uniform and be able to make that fucking play.
Yep. Well, there it is. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my God! Big bust out by Breece Hall. He pulled up a little bit, ducked out of bounds. Interesting.
Drew
Who says the Baltimore Falcons choked a 24-9 lead to everyone's favorite injured women respecter, Deshaun Watson. Why is Drew yelling at this point in time? I'm going to read his comments a little bit differently. Drew says, Notre Dame boy, Michael Mayer, TD.
Michael Mayer. I'm not sure if you saw, since the Bengals lost today, they had a chance, if you remove this real quick, they had a chance to go up and score a touchdown late in the game. 1 minute and 42 seconds left. They were down by 3. It's 3rd and goal. Now, Burrow had kind of been off a little bit today. This play right here, man, dude, it shows you can't have mistakes that you make, especially by vets, just get magnified at this point in time in the game.
Seconds and counting. We've got a live ball in Pittsburgh. And shot to the seconds and counting.
Look at this. Tyler Boyd just drops the fucking ball in the end zone.
I mean, he's usually very sure-handed. That's a man. Oh, man.
He is wide open. Wide open. Just like
you got to catch that ball.
That lost in the game because Houston then proceeded to drive down the field, kick a field goal, and they lost. Got to do better than that. But go ahead there, X. Do we have any more comments?
He says, goes to show how misleading some stats are. Zach Wilson hasn't thrown an interception in over 250 passes, and their offense is still terrible. He just missed number 10, was wide freaking open. Lazard would have walked in for a touchdown. He just threw the ball out of bounds. Joseph C. adds, Saleh is a dipshit, conservative offensive play calling all the time, hoping to win games 13-10. Would you trust Zach Wilson in a wide open offense at this point in time? I can't.
I do if it requires him to think less.
Oh, what a terrible pass. 2 in a row. It's like, dude, I could do that. Seriously, I could do what he just did on these 2 plays. X, what do you think about this screen pass coming up?
God, I just want to point out one more thing to drive TJ insane. When Sam Howell's O-line is playing like shit, it's Sam Howell sucks. When Joe Burrow is playing like shit, he's got no help. No,
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's played poorly this year. Simple. He hasn't played well.
He's been hurt. That's one thing I'll say.
He just hasn't played well.
Where's the consistency, TJ? Jets and Joseph C says Jets and Giants fans would pray for Sam Hall right now. They absolutely would.
Oh, phew.
There he go. Oh my God. What
Garrett
the
Wilson,
hell
the
are you
Jets'
doing?
new number 1 QB.
Well, they're going to have to settle for a field goal. There they go. Jets have to settle for another field goal.
Jesus Christ. Well, let's wrap this one up here today, guys. We're here at the end of the show. Grumpy, Son X, what do you guys want to say before we wrap things up here today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the grumpy old man, and Son X.
And Son X, what do you want to say before we wrap things up here today?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out and listening. As always, had a great podcast with you guys. Love the interaction with the fans as well. And we will see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and watching the show. We'll see you guys here live Thursday. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe we won't see you Thursday.
Why not?
We'll see. We'll keep you in tune. We'll keep you in depth. Probably not actually on Thursday.
Oh, that means that TJ must have something to do.
Oh,
That's
wow.
right. We have
Maybe we should go ahead and rip TJ for not showing up to the podcast.
Well, unilaterally just cancel the show. Good job.
Yep, exactly. He just cancels the show when he can't make it.
If X would like to go ahead and do it, he could go ahead and get the show going.
You know what? No. You want to know why I don't want to do it? Because then nobody would ask you to come back ever.
Oh, X, I was going to go with that joke, but you beat
Sorry.
me to it.
I'll beat you to it. My bad.
These motherfuckers. A goony goo goo. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap stuff up. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you guys here soon. Thank you, Grumpy. Thank you, Son X.
Thank you.
My pleasure.